and it's so sad. It's so sad. It's like, man, I have to go to bed after this. Like, I have to go to bed, and this is the only game that I get to play. It feels so fucking bad.
Right. Yeah. That's an
But
unfortunate
with that
occurrence.
being said, like, you can't do anything about it.
Oh.
There's nothing to do.
All right, I started the stream. I'm gonna go pee real quick.
Okay. I'm gonna brush the old hair. Like, where's the hairbrush? Right. Okay. Oh, there it is. Oh, you're eating. What's up, chat? Anybody in chat yet? Let me check. What's going on here? I can't get to the Dota Alchemy channel. There we go. Oh, that's why I'm on my main account. All right. Whoops. I can hear you lighten up, dog. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Incense my ass. I sense that you're smoking weed and not incense.
But you know it's a great game to get rid of tilt? Mordhau.
Okay.
Because
that's your game of the week here, Donnie?
It's because you go into it and you get to literally chop people into tiny component pieces of their bodies.
Okay.
They actually articulated all the different joints on the models of their characters so that if you hit somebody in the leg, they lose their leg. You hit somebody in the wrist, they'll chop off their hand. Hit somebody in the head, chop off their head. It's great.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Sounds like a real good game of the week fad that's gonna just die when people go to the next fucking Apex Legends or Fortnite or whatever the kids these days are playing.
Yeah, probably.
All right, let's get right into the replay review because
we don't want to waste any more time.
Fuck it. Yeah, we always complain. Let's go. Okay. First things first. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the annual Dota Alchemy replay review. We're doing it Friday night this week instead of Thursday night because we had prior arrangements on Thursday. Unfortunately, life happens. And life happens fast.
Yeah, it's actually kind of weird. You know, we're not just mindless robots that sit here and analyze Dota games all day, despite what you YouTube viewers might think. We're actually people that have lives and outside of Dota from time to time.
Not me.
Oh.
Not me.
Sorry, that was just I didn't mean to speak for you. I was just talking about my experience.
Yeah, I mean, you could just not, speak for a large group of people if you wouldn't fucking mind. Just real quick. You could just, not be such an asshole.
Apologies.
It's okay. It's okay. I forgive you. There's a lot of things that I forgive you for. That's definitely in that category. Okay, we got Souls first. God knows it's a Techies replay.
I don't want to do it.
I think he's playing with Caesar. Can you? Actually, I'm gonna start a group call because that's a different thing. So I'm gonna get Souls in here. Let's see if he's around.
Hello?
Share your screen with me, dog. You dog. Share your screen with me, you dog.
Not stream Dota 2.
Yeah. Oh, yo, we got Souls here? No, he's still ringing.
There we go.
Let's see. I think Caesar, Little Caesar's Milan is also.
Oh, he's playing Necro, not a Techies replay. It's like an actual game.
Holy shit! It's a real game.
It's actually Dota.
Necro Enigma. That's quite the combo. Oh, wait a minute. Where's he playing Necro? Why is there a Darkseer? Mid Necro? All right.
I guess so.
Okay.
This Darkseer has an Aghanim Scepter.
1 second. Let me see if he said he could call in or not.
Did we put that caveat? Like, leave?
Yeah.
Okay, we did.
He said he's here to call in. Oh, that was during Alchemy Answers. He put that. All right. Okay. So we're gonna assume Souls isn't here because he's away. But he can watch it on
Patreon.
On Patreon. Well, on the YouTube channel. We'll see if Caesar's here. Maybe Caesar's here. Caesar Massel. Because he's in that too. Hey, Dota Alchemy, can you give me my replay analysis? What? That's all I have to say to that. Let's see if we can get Caesar in here. Caesar, he's offline, so maybe. But some people have the notifications on their phone, so if you scream at them, they'll come.
Right. That's actually what that movie was about. If they build it, they will come. Was not what they originally scripted it as. Or if you build it, they will come. It's if you yell at them, they might answer you.
Is that what that was about?
I think so.
I don't believe you. Okay, well they're both not here, but that's okay.
That's their bad.
They can hop in halfway through if they want. I'm gonna set up the old timer here, and let's get to it. As soon as we get in the replay, I will press the old start button.
Oakley dokley.
Pop on in.
All right, I'm actually supposed to be downloading this, and
maybe.
Oh,
it's okay. It's okay. Hey, you're a little slow.
My first time.
That tends to be what happens when you just light up some weed on stream and smoke it like that, like you were doing, and then lie about it and say that you're smoking incense.
Oh.
Wow, that is like an old looking invoker. He looks like Voldemort, dude. What on earth? It's actually some Harry Potter shit going on. Geez, speaking of Harry Potter shit, look at that background. Who owns that? Somebody's got a high battle pass level, dude.
That's just what they all look like.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
I think that's a battle pass thing.
Why is bounty carry? I don't know.
That's a fine carry. Okay, so here's a problem. So we got two boys here to look at. So you give him the Ring of Regen. That's interesting. And he's heading towards the mid lane. Let's see what his his items are.
Sorry, who?
Two ring of regens? Is one of those Souls' ring of regen? Can you look at those? So both of them are Caesars. So what does Caesar have?
Nothing.
2 ring of regens. Okay, so you're going for a soul ring. That's fine. But I would definitely personally look to just rush the Dom, because the thing with doing this on this hero is it's all about the timing, right? It's not about getting the items. Like eventually you'll always get a soul ring in a Dom. Like Dota is absolutely not about getting items. It is about getting items by a specific timing, and that is particularly why Enigma is a broken hero. So if you're buying 2 Ring of Regens and not saving money for your Helm Dom, then that means that you're going to have that timing delayed by like a minute or something like that. And a minute can mean the difference between getting all the tier 3s and getting 2 tier 3s. So I actually think that rushing Helm Dom is the absolute most important play that you can do on Enigma personally. Even as an offlane Enigma, I've been completely hard rushing Helm Dom and just buying clarities up until the point you get it.
Also, I just want to say that I understand that you guys are in a party together, but I would probably not do this build unless you guys are playing offlane, because the whole point of giving these items is to give them to the offlaner who's going to be in a 2v1 or 3v1 scenario. The mid laner is going to be in a 1-on-1 no matter what. So it's kind of like, I don't know if
it's a pub strat. It's a pub strat though, because it's like you're not going to give this to some random moron.
Well, obviously
you don't want the Ring of Regen on Enigma. So I think this is actually fine just because it's a pub strat. Like,
I mean, sure,
it's one of those unfortunate things. Where, like, there's nothing you can do about it because you're not going to give it to like an idiot, you know.
Well, of course not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying you give it to the Darkseer. I'm just saying you don't even go this build unless you are both playing in the offlane. Instead, you just go for like better jungling items or something like that, you know?
I still think it's good. I still think the Dom Rush is like the Dom Rush strat is really pub winning because people like Nakes will be level 4 or something when you get the Dom on Enigma if you're farming it correctly, and it's like World of Warcraft to farm the Dom. It's not, you don't have to be some skilled Dota player. You just micro the Eidolons, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, let's actually watch this. Let's actually watch this because I can give you some tips on this. It's not to toot my own horn or anything, but I did rush a Dom in a game with New Sham, and he said, "Wow, that's an early Dom timing, Jenkins." Yeah, he said that. So I'm quite the Enigma player myself, apparently. All right, here's what you do against centaurs: tank with your hero. Like, you can also bait the little clappy thing that he does, and you just run the little guys in, and then run them out, and then he'll go like that. And then this doesn't happen where you just like miserably lose all of your little spermlings. You don't want to get that. Like, once again, it really matters because
timing.
The timing matters. If you can just get really good at getting like a 4 or 5 minute Dom in every game on Enigma, you can literally pick this hero until immortal, and you will win 90% of your games just by the fact that the enemy team's not going to know how to play when they have all of their tier 1s down at like 7 minutes. Like, legit, this hero's busted, right? But the reason it's busted is because of the timing. So
right. It's kind of like the Nature's Prophet 5 and just showing up and killing all the tier 1s at like 5 minutes into the game.
Yes, exactly. You win so many games. I legit think that it's a mistake to go for a Soul Ring first. I think it's a crutch. I think it's a mana crutch that you're going for, and it's going to delay your timing, and it's going to make your chances of winning a lot weaker. And also, so you need to tank with your hero a lot more, I would say. That's a reason to keep your ring. But even if you don't have your ring and you're rushing a Dom, you give your ring to your mid, right? That's fine. By the time you're low HP, this hero farms fast enough from the gold that you saved as well that you'll have a ring of health by the time your hero gets low at all, and you'll just heal up. So you can actually tank. You can actually tank creeps. Also, go for Midnight Pulse level 2. Use that to farm. Use that to stack. Like, you could be killing the other camp with Midnight Pulse. While once again, timing really matters with this. So people are absolutely rushing into like doing anything that they can, including skilling Midnight Pulse to farm faster. And also, what you can do is you can stack ancients while you're doing this. You don't have an ancient taker, which is really unfortunate, but you can still Midnight Pulse down the trees around the ancient area, and you can farm the ancients, especially if it's the golems, then they're easy to farm. But you can take like one or two of the little ancients while you're waiting for the camps to respawn.
Yeah. I just wanted to remind us that it is Souls replay that we're doing. So I think we've seen enough that we need to see from the Enigma.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, agreed.
The timing is already missed, and it's gonna be really, really late because of this.
This is gonna be a late ass Dom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of mid Necrophos, coming back also to timings, I like the stick because you're against the Medusa. So I do think that's a good early pickup. But what a lot of people do is they will buy components to... So I think probably if you were to watch Sumail play this, what he would do is he would, instead of starting with like 2 null tally components, he'd start with 1 null tally component and then entire wand component. And then on the first courier usage, he'd either send out the entire wand plus a salve, or he'd send out the entire null tally plus a salve. Like, it's really, really important on this hero in particular. On most mid heroes, it's really important. Like Kunkka, you want to get your 2 bracers so you can one-hit ranged creeps. Necrophos, you want to get your like 2 null tellies, but in this case, it would be a null telly and a wand. Like the reason you want these items is because it puts your damage to like a certain threshold where this guy is not just gonna. Is he just dying to you? He's just dying to you. It puts your damage to a certain threshold when you get like the small items that you can just like completely bully and dominate somebody in the lane. Like the bracers and null tallies and these items, what they're used for is number one, just like using your net worth that you've acquired in the laning phase to have a bigger impact later on into the laning phase. And then the second thing that they do, which is not important in this case, is you buy these items to like survive burst. But that's not a problem here. So like that's why it's so important to send out that if you can get like 2 null tallies before the enemy can, and as a Necrophos, like you're a lane dominator, you can do that. You can literally just sit on their hill, hitting them for like 80 damage, getting every single CS, getting every single deny, and then you hit the range creep once with level 2 Death Pulse, and then just Death Pulse it out. Or you hit it once with your right click. So basically what I'm saying is I think it's really important that you don't go for this like shitty Ring of Regen. I think it doesn't do anything for you. And instead, I think you need to go for your stat items so you can start. Oh, wait, sorry. That's
it was given to him. So.
But still, you should look to send out your null talisman, your full null talisman plus a salve, or your full wand plus a salve as early as possible. And then by the time the courier gets back to base, you should be sending out like the second one, basically. And the timing on that really matters.
Yeah, I think that's really spot on. Also, I just wanted to pause at this point just because I see this a lot where people will. They won't like exert pressure on the tower at the right time. So you came in, you got the kill on the Medusa, and you started to pressure the tower. The glyph is down already that was used to save a bunch of damage on the tower. And then your catapult wave walks up, and both of you back up and just allow all of your creeps to just get crushed by their tower super quickly. And I think that this is a huge problem because, I mean, you do glyph the creeps, but I think this is a huge problem that I see a lot just in pubs in general, is just people not really recognizing the fact that the catapult wave is there or it's on the way. And it's so fucking important to pay attention to your catapult waves and try and keep it alive as long as possible. Like if you have a catapult wave on a tower that's taken damage already, you should kill that tower. You should try to get a tower with every catapult wave.
Especially against Medusa, because she just wants to sit in like her tri-camps, and if you can take the mid tower, then you can just walk up into her high ground, and she's like defenseless. You can ward there, and it really fucks over a Medusa's game to have her tower taken. And then that also means you can run to the other lanes and start taking their towers at 5 minutes instead of 10. I actually want to look and see when you take the tower. That's what I'm interested in. Okay. Like you could have taken it on that wave because you have a salve. So you could actually tank the tower in salve, and if Medusa walks up, stun with the Enigma, Reaper Scythe her, even if you don't kill her, like as long as you're
out of lane.
Yeah, as long as you're forcing her out of the lane, you're gonna get the tower, and that's the most important thing. So 8 minutes and the tower is still not dead when it could have died at the 5 minute mark.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to go down until like minute 15 because at this point Medusa's just going to snake every single wave.
She can snake out the wave. Yeah, exactly. Here's the thing: we're like, we talked about timings. Timings really, really matter. If you're watching Team Secret and they're playing this game, for fuck's sakes, if you're watching Liquid, they might literally take the tower before the game starts. Like everybody's just looking to do shit fast. Yeah. And if you can take a mid tower because you're tanking for a siege creep in your bracket and nobody else does that, so you're just getting mid towers at 5 minutes when every other moron in your bracket's getting it at 15 minutes. Your chances of winning go up by like 10%. It skyrockets. So yeah, I think definitely problematic that this is still alive. Like look how free Medusa is to just farm and push out this mid lane, go jungle, push out the mid lane, go jungle, take tower, do whatever she wants.
Yep, and there's the third siege wave, still no tower dead. So
the timer went off, by the way, but since this is like a 2-person replay, we can
go
finish this thought.
Sure,
sort of thing.
But yeah, okay. So 18 minutes, the tower goes down.
I like the build, by the way. I like your itemization and I like your skill build. I think Souls is the type of player that does his research when it comes to. I can guarantee you that Souls looked up like what the correct build is. Like watched a pro player do it.
Yeah.
Something like that. He knows what the. Did he go? What talent did he go?
10 strength.
and people are going the strength talent now. Yeah, so no surprise there. But it's the little things that matter in Dota. Donnie and I have been saying a lot for the past couple of weeks, like the little decisions that you make every 2 to 3 minutes. Those are what separates tier 1 player from literally like an Archon player. It's just that the tier 1 player will literally have their hero in the correct place at the correct time. They will understand when they can exert pressure. They'll do exactly the same mechanics that you're doing, except in the same decisions that you're doing in terms of items, maybe a little bit better. But there will just be some things that are a little bit off in where you're making incorrect choices. Like that one choice to not protect your siege creep there made it so this game is significantly harder. And they actually have a 12k gold lead. What the hell?
They have a bounty hunter too, which is another really important point, because if you don't take that tower, then you can't exert pressure against the bounty, who's like the ultimate greedy hero in terms of he does absolutely nothing unless he has free reign to run around and get kills and build up track. And when he's not forced into trying to defend his towers, then he's able to just run around and harass everybody and get a bunch of kills.
Yeah.
Last thing I wanted to ask is your opinion on going for Yules this game right away. I feel like defensive item definitely really important because you are against the Static Storm in particular. How do you feel about like Yules versus Hood versus Force Staff?
Well, for mid Necro, it's a little bit weird. Like I personally think Hood is like one of the best first items that you can go on this hero period, just because it's so cost efficient in the early game, and you can just run to all of the lanes and be that like tanky frontline like cancer guy that just takes all of the tier 1s for your team, and basically like you can death ball before anybody else can death ball if you do that.
Right.
So like I think this build is like a fine kind of like utility build, but you're not tanky at all. Like you're squishy. If the enemy team goes on you, you're gonna die, and I think Yules is gonna do that for you too. Like in my opinion, like the best way to play this hero is to be a hero that's like actually taking damage.
Yeah, just bait a bunch of stuff on you.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be full health once you pop your Ghost Shroud and Wand right afterwards.
Yeah. I do like Yules as like an eventual item, and sometimes I feel like you need to go Yules if you're like hard counter by like a Pugner or something. But I don't see this as one of those games.
Okay.
But with that being said, it's not a bad item, and I personally think that like any net worth that you can spend on this hero, like generally you're not going to spend it so incorrectly that like you'd see like a 10% increase or something by going for a Hood over like an Atos.
Mm-hmm.
I would say where the issues probably arise in this game is like decision making, because there are certain heroes where like your item decisions matter so much more. But I consider Necro to be like somewhat of a broodmother type hero, where if you just spend your net worth, you'll generally feel like pretty unkillable to the enemy team. Like there are very few like really bad items in Dota. As long as your net worth is in some sort of item, it's going to be a lot better. Thank you, Ellie. That's very sweet of you. What type of tea is this? Oh, hell yeah. Thank you. Anyway. I think I would personally like to go for a Hood, but anytime I see like any itemization, these are not bad items. I would say really that the decision making is going to be where you have issues.
Cool. All right, let's move on to the next one.
I guess it's important to note, like if you want, okay, so Souls is at work, unfortunately. Okay, so I'll let them know that theirs will be in the VOD. I'll get the next replay. I guess it's important to say here, like if you've submitted a replay and you want us to look at like the mid game, definitely we can take a look at that as well. Cause we did kind of like just go over the laning stage. I do really think the catapult thing is like a really important little tidbit, you know. And I mean, I think as long as we're giving people like a tidbit that they can do in future games and just start winning more, that's good. But there are like equally important tidbits that we could pull from the mid game as well.
Yeah,
you know, it depends on the point in the game.
By the way, I was talking to Kat about doing replay review, and she was saying that we should do a theme every week to like mix things up a little bit.
That is a good idea. Like we'll talk about mid game, talk about late game, talk about
only like this type of hero.
Cheese heroes, yeah. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I agreed.
How come we didn't think of that? That's a good idea. Does she even know Dota?
No.
Jesus Christ, we're pathetic. Okay, so this is half Gemini.
AKA
maybe,
fart.
AKA fart. Maybe we can get fart to call in. Thanks for the advice. Last time I raised by 300 MMR. Awesome. That's fucking amazing to hear. But in this game, I was really confused as to what to do after minute 30. Oh, that's great. That's a good timing to look at. So fart is our shadow shaman. Okay.
Yep.
Calling in on Thursday. Let me see if I can get him in here. Half Gemini. Where we at
If
here?
I submitted my replay on Patreon, does it mean it's going to get looked at, or it might not be?
It will.
Yeah.
It will get looked at.
Did you send it to us as a message? Is that what happened? Because basically, we take all of the replays from our Discord channel. So if you submit it on Patreon, we do our best to check there, but sometimes we forget. If I'm being perfectly honest, because everybody else submits their stuff on Discord. So your best bet is to send it to us on Discord, but we should be probably checking our Patreon.
I messaged Fart, and I'm gonna see if he's around.
I don't see a message from a Michael, so I can't really help you there. You submitted the replay on Patreon, but didn't actually submit it on
Patreon. All right, half Gemini does not appear to be around, so we can just give her a go. All right, I started the timer. Let's go. So we're looking at Shadow Shaman. He wants to look at about 30 minutes.
Yep.
On into the game.
Up to right around there. Look at the net worth. Got somewhat of a Storm Spirit problem, which Shaman is pretty good at dealing with in general.
Yep. Agreed. So this is a 5 roll Shaman?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess that this exact action that just happened there has happened numerous times this game.
Let's like 16 exit and see if we can maybe go back. How many deaths have happened at this point?
He has 11 deaths.
Okay, Leia, let's maybe go back like 5 to 10 minutes and just 16 exit and just see what we can see.
Okay, we'll go to 20 minutes. And at 20 minutes, he has 5 deaths.
Okay.
Okay, so he knows that he wants a Glimmer Cape, which I completely agree with. I think that's the item to keep you alive as a 5 Shaman. Although, alternatively, you could just simply play in a way where the Storm Spirit is never going to go on you. Okay, so there's a death to the Storm Spirit. So 1 death to the Storm. So TPs to the mid lane. Another death to the Storm.
All right. I think I have the solution for this game. But I want to see a few more deaths. Yeah, okay. So I'm pretty sure I have the solution.
Okay, in a fight, getting focused. Oh, still alive. That's good. Fighting with the whole team. That's pretty key. Being with the team.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of a death, but trading his life for a void, so that's good.
Yeah, that's fine. This is basically my solution. So basically the way I see this game, you're playing the kind of traditional Shadow Shaman where you run to push the side lanes. Well, actually, number one, I guess my first critique, and it's a more simple one, is that if you're playing this kind of split pushing Shadow Shaman, number one, you want to max Ether Shock so you can push waves out quickly. Then you're not feeding Storm.
Yep.
That's kind of the whole point of that, is that he can push waves out really quickly, and then he's gone, and he's just in the trees waiting. And then if the enemy team fucks off, you go take their towers. So that's critique number one. Critique number two, do it in the side lanes. Like, the point of it is making space, and if you're going to the mid lane and dying, it is way better for the enemy team than if you're dying in a side lane. It takes a lot of time for the enemy team to set up on you in a side lane. It does not take a lot of time for them to set up on you in the mid lane. And my final critique, and the most important one, but the most complicated one to execute, is that you don't have to split push side lanes this game. You have 3 heroes that do it already. You have Monkey King, who wants to jump around with his maxed nuke and push side lanes. You have Arc Warden, who sends illusions safely to push side lanes. You have a Broodmother, who wants to push out a lane and farm a jungle in that area. So you don't need to be that hero that's running around the map and making space. That is an unnecessary job in this game. And this is something that I've been talking to Newsham about recently. I basically had this realization that there's a lot of people that I have on my friends list that I've known for a long time that are much better at Dota than me, and I've never actually asked anybody to coach me. So I've been asking people for coaching and talking to people about Dota, and I feel like I'm learning so much shit. And one of the things that Newsham always talks about, he always mentions, is you need to adapt to the game. Like there's a certain way of playing heroes, but in certain games it's just redundant. You don't actually need to do it. In fact, in this game, there's a Storm who can instantly catch somebody who's out of position. So it not only is it redundant to do it because your team wants to do it already, it's hard. It's hard to do. So I would say that your play this game is actually to fight with your team and to jungle in an area near your team. Like maybe you don't need to be jungling.
I disagree with the jungling. I feel like you should just literally go sit behind anybody who's far up in a side lane. Because Storm's going to jump on them, you're going to hex the Storm, you're going to kill the Storm.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I'm saying like if it's like a passive moment and you don't need to actually defend anybody in like a side lane, you can literally just hit or stack neutral creeps near your team so that when a fight breaks out, like you're already there. But yes, of course, like if you have a core that's like sitting in a lane that's actually pushing and showing, like you want to be there so that when the Storm zips in, you can hex them.
Yeah.
So I agree. I agree with Donnie. I guess I was just thinking of when you're playing like the economy game, but you'd basically do this rotation. I guess it's like a combination of what Donnie and I are saying. You'd basically do this rotation of like, is somebody on your team in an aggressive position? If yes, sit in trees near them, get ready to save them. If somebody in your team not in an aggressive situation, okay, stack jungle camps, jungle, maybe put wards up around that area. Like essentially what you want to do as a 5 role is like, whenever your team is just farming an area in a jungle or you're just occupying a space, you want to like occupy the perimeter of that space. If you watch Solo, this is an example that Newsham always uses when he's discussing this sort of thing to me. If you watch Solo play, like he's always the person that sits there and breaks the smoke. Like enemy team will try to like move up into an area and he's there. And if he gets caught, it doesn't matter. If he doesn't get caught and he walks away, he sets up a good fight for his team. So like you want to basically occupy a perimeter. Like you have a zone where your team is farming, you occupy the farthest area to the the side of that area of that zone, and then like if your team is sitting in a side lane, then like that's an important hero, so you need to protect them while they're occupying that lane, that side of the zone essentially. But basically you need to think of it all in terms of like zones, like what area of the map are you controlling, and just be with your team either farming or protecting them in that area in a rotation of either farming when your team is not being aggressive and sitting doing literally nothing in trees, protecting them when they are doing something aggressive. And if you do that this game, I think you win because the Storm just zips on like your Arc Warden and you fucking kill them over and over again. Yep. That's the way I see this game at least.
Yeah, I agree. And one other thing I would add is while you're kind of like AFKing in trees, try to get into a place where you can actually just soak experience. Basically, after the laning stage, as a 5, you want to try and soak as much experience as possible. You always want to be near experience range, because otherwise you're just going to fall behind, and you're probably not a hero that's very good at jungling, so you can't really like catch up in that way.
Hey, shovel.
Spider shovel.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
But yeah.
I actually think like I've been watching like Snake Kings and shit. It looks exactly the same as like any other offlaner playing. It's just that they're farming in the right area. And as a support, you probably do less farming. I get that, but literally just having your hero positioned somewhere is just Dota. Like that's the most important thing in Dota. Is Sammy Boy said it to me, and Jesus Christ, he's saying some really dumb shit on Twitter, and I shouldn't even like bring him into it. Yeah, but let's face it, a lot of these Dota players, totally insane people, but they're still good at Dota. So Sammy Boy said something to me. This is something that he learned from playing with Eric Dong, 747, who played at the Major, replaced Gunner, that whole drama. he played with Immortals, which is like Forev and basically MVP Phoenix. So really, really good team. And he said that when he watches replays, when they watch replays, he learned when they watch replays, they don't even watch what's happening in the game. They look at the minimap. And basically, the reason that's important is just because what your hero is doing doesn't really matter. It's more like, where are you positioned on the map, and is it the correct location? So is it a game where you should be pushing side lanes? And all you need to see is the little Shadow Shaman icon in side lanes constantly. That's all you need to see. I don't care about deaths. I don't care about mechanics. Are you fucking up your Serpent Wards? Nothing like that. Like, that doesn't matter, because that'll get better if you just play a lot of Dota. But if you're in the... So, for instance, when you're jungling away from your team and they all die top, that's a mistake. But I can tell you that from looking at the minimap. I don't even need to see your hero jungling there on the screen, because I can see that you have 2 cores that are occupying a very unsafe area without wards, and you're not playing the perimeter of that area as their 5-role support. So that's when you're making a mistake, you know? And it's just all it takes is the minimap.
Yeah, I mean, there will be times when I'm playing a game where, and this happens so often in pubs, where your team is just completely insane and they're just positioning themselves in like the stupidest places, the most dangerous. They're putting your entire team in jeopardy all the time because they're just always out of position. But there will be those games where I'll notice I'm like, oh shit, this person's going to push this lane, which is super, super stupid. And if they die, then we're going to lose the game. And I will stop everything that I'm doing and just walk as close as possible to them, as quickly as possible to them, or as quickly as possible, because it's so important that you are in the vicinity of where you need to be at the right time. Otherwise, you just lose the game. It doesn't matter whether you're like a 9K spellcaster if you're not in the right place. You can't utilize any of those skills at all. Actually,
funny, this is like a bit tangential, but Ellie and I were just driving we were going to like walk my dog and pick up a TV actually, but okay, the timer popped. I'll finish this thought. So Ellie and I were talking about Dota and how people on Twitch and I mean just like stream viewers would be like, oh, CS Pog champ, and you know, like fucking flaming people for making like these little mechanical errors. You know, oh haha, Cliff TZ, what a fucking idiot. And it's like, dude, if you were playing this game, you wouldn't even be at the fight to get cliffed because you wouldn't realize the fight's gonna fucking break out. Like, Arteezy's always in the right place at the right time because his map movements are good. And holy shit, this Kuka. What? What is he doing?
I don't know.
But anyway, it's like that's the stuff that top players care about, is just like, literally, is your hero there for important stuff or away when it's important to push lanes or to be around Roche or to, you know, ward the other side of the map? Like, is your hero literally in the right place at the right time? That's like the most important thing about Dota. And you have the mistake of people, they'll run to shit after it's already over. Like, you need to be able to recognize that something bad is about to happen and then just cut whatever you're doing out and just be there for when that bad thing happens so you can turn it around, than to just like persistently run at stuff after it's already happened. It's like there's obviously a little bit of like foreshadowing that you have to be able to do. You're spending a lot of time just showing on waves, by the way, and like, that is just asking for it from Storm.
Yeah, it's much better to shock the wave, go hide, and then come back with shocks off cooldown and shock the wave again, so that you show for like minimal amounts of time. I just wanted to add one last thing to that, which is, if like to talk about another semi-controversial figure, Envy, who is notorious for yelling at his teammates and being toxic to his teammates in games.
And being racist too.
But the reason that he is yelling at them is not because they're missing CS. He's not yelling at them for missing a combo on Invoker. He's yelling at them for not being somewhere at the right time, or pushing when they need to be pushing, or coming to a fight when they need to be coming to a fight. It has nothing to do with their fucking mechanics.
Yeah, and Envy's like good, by the way. Like, the community memes him, but the community is really shit at Dota. Like, the community doesn't actually know how to play. Like, and when I say the community, I mean like Reddit. Like, Reddit is a bunch of 2 to 3Ks that are like pseudo intellectual. That's what Reddit is, you know. Envy's a really good player. Yeah, he's toxic. Yeah, he's a fucking team destroyer. He's known for that. But he's a good player. People meme him, but if he's communicating in that way, it means it's good, and it is good. You can hear. God, I wish we should bring it. Well, actually, New Shaman is coming on Alchemy Answers this next Tuesday, so we can actually get his input on this, because he has a lot of really good shit to say. He'll give me like a whole essay of shit that I should start doing, and it's like, fuck, I didn't think about half of this shit. You know, the guy's just golden fountain of information. But he basically, like, he always references Envy in the way he communicated, and he said that when he was at WESG playing, he heard Moon Meander basically carrying Team Canada because they're all like random tier 2, tier 3 players, like not that good. But Moon Meander's a tier 1 player, right. So he'd say shit like, stand at this hill, defend this ward. Like, let's go. Let's move, let's go to Roche. Like, this guy fucked up, he TP'd in, let's go to this area. Like, he'd be calling his team, like, where to go on the map. And he didn't say a single fucking word about, oh, you can't ravage like that. You have to hit, nobody cares about hitting spells. It doesn't matter. It's like, that stuff will come naturally. And honestly, I have not watched a replay that we've done where I'm like, oh, this person fucking sucks at casting spells. Yeah. Like 90% of the time, I literally look at something and my little peepers are seeing something that would happen in my games. It's just that there's fights where they're not there, or they should have taken a tower. Like, strategically, there's something that they're not understanding. It's almost never mechanical.
Yeah.
Like, it never seems to be mechanical.
Yep, agreed.
All right, let's move on. We got King of Hell. He's here. He messaged me already. So he said, replay review. There's the replay. Let's go for the first 10 minutes of the game.
I'm putting this replay in here because this is the guy in chat who's our patron.
Okay.
Yeah, it's straight up just decision making, man. It's like, I felt this way for so long that it's just decision making. It's decision making and not being a basket case, basically.
Yeah, it is.
That's the key to gaining MMR. It has nothing to do with what hero you pick, what role you play.
Let me look. Okay. So I'm gonna get King of Hell in here.
By the way, I decided that I wanted to start spamming Zeus, partially because of King of Hell. But
there he is.
Hey guys.
But mostly because I wanted to do like a montage with Zeus.
Hey, dude, repeat that for King of Hell. I'm sure he'll like hearing that.
I didn't hear anything.
Oh, I'm spamming Zeus because I want to make a montage.
Yeah, I actually heard you talk about it like a few days ago on Alchemy Questions, I guess.
Yeah.
Donnie's embarrassed now. He said it's partly from watching you that he wants to spam Zeus, but he's embarrassed because now you're in here.
Yeah.
But it's okay. I spilled the beans.
Yeah. Oh, you're doubling your rank. That's a mistake already.
I only double down when people are feeding. That is my golden rule. Every single time I double down when people are not literally intentionally feeding, I fucking lose, and I get really tilted too.
Wait, how do you know if they're feeding or not?
Because they'll pick techies and start running down mid and say like GG, game's over. And it's
I don't really get that kind of games.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you're lucky or unlucky.
I don't know, like there are a lot of guys flaming and stuff, but I don't really get like techies feeding mid and stuff like that. You're probably just really low behavior score.
No, I'm not.
Because I was
10K. No, I'm 10K, dude. It's just North America, man. It's just North America.
Yeah, probably.
It's
like when I was 1K behavior, I would get.
You were 1K behavior score? What?
Yeah, that's when I lost like 700 MMR.
Oh,
because I would get like at least one ruiner who would just go and feed like every game pretty much.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
My Smurf's like 5K behavior score, and it's just atrocious.
Yeah, it's pretty bad at 5K, but
it's awful.
1K, I feel like you're like in low priority already at that
Basically,
point.
Yeah.
Nah, it's worse than that.
That's actually true.
I like this build, by the way. I do like boots first in regen. Like I actually think that's really good.
I prefer it. Yeah, I definitely prefer it. Like when I go bottle, it's good, but I miss the timing on the boots. It's just like I don't really have enough mana, like at all.
Yeah.
Ever.
Even with a bottle, yeah.
Oh, it cuts a second wave.
Also,
loving it.
Do it almost every game now.
Also, boots allows you to do stuff like this really safely, which is super good. But I think just movement speed is just so good in general.
Yeah, I mean, people do this on like people do. I don't even care that you die there. Honestly,
fucked up there.
you're doing the right thing. Like I actually think you're doing the right thing. Okay, I do have one kind of cool tip for you. What a lot of people do when they cut the second wave on Dire is they'll bring it to the tier 3, and the only problem with that is that it'll leave your Sand King solo, but he's actually fine doing that. This is a fucking beastly lane, by the way, Sand King Zeus. It's a disgusting.
Yeah, I actually asked him to pick him.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I watched
But,
that game, like the pro game, where they
Yeah.
played Zeus Sand King with the Veil. I really
Yeah.
liked it.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
let me
I've been
tell you,
asking
man.
people to pick that, and it's going pretty well if they know how to
It's
play.
just so
Sand
much
King.
damage. You just
Yeah.
murder
Dude,
people.
it's also UD ward for the Sand Kings.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's like it's so good. But anyway, I think actually you could pull to the tier 3 because that will
Okay.
deny an entire wave. The only problem is like you have to hit the creeps uphill twice, which is really annoying.
Yeah,
And if
that's fine. I don't mind that. It's
yeah, and then also you will catch like the third wave. So you need a hero in the lane that will be fine with you leaving for 2 waves, which is fine because Sand King can handle that. But the great thing is it'll get you level 2 for free, and then an entire wave of denies and an entire wave of CS. So you'll be really close to your mana boots if you do that. Like
yeah, I don't
I
like
really
pulling on this side, the
dire
dire side.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's much better on the other side.
that's why people pull to the tier
I
3 now
always
on
do
dire
it
though.
on the between tier 1 and 2 on the other side, and it's
Oh, yeah.
just like free fucking wave.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. Like Radiant's way fucking better. But that's
By
why
the way,
people
is it good to like pull on near the T1, but not like under the tower, so the creeps meet near the tower, or should I just kill them under the tower?
Honestly, on Dire, if the support's hitting you, I would honestly just kill it under tower, and then with the double wave that you have, like dive them or cut the next wave. Like use the double wave that you're going to send out to do something good. So like you could side pull the next wave with the wave that's pushing out, or you could just essentially, yeah, you can pull it under tower. Just make sure that you're doing something with the double wave that you're sending into your opponents. That's all. That's all.
Because like I usually just pull it near tower, so it doesn't die under the tower if I can. But sometimes there's like support hitting me, so I can't really do it, and I
Like
have
you
to
died
pull
in
it
this
under the tower.
situation because
Yeah,
Jakiro's really good at fucking with you.
Yeah.
Wow, like that's one
While
of the better
watching
heroes.
this, what I did, I made mistake of tanking creeps for sure. Like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done that.
Jenkins, how do you feel about him just going and using this shrine instead of walking all the way back to base?
I
Yeah,
really don't
I mean,
like doing solo shrines.
I think what's your mid situation? So your mid's Invoker, so he's gonna send out like a bunch of clarities. Your Sand King.
He has like infinite regen basically.
I think it's fine to
So
be
it's
greedy
okay?
as a
Okay.
4. Yeah, I think like as a 4, your role is basically to be a core. Honestly, like a lot of the
Yeah,
time
I
you end
played
up
pretty
being
much as a core.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's literally what's winning secret majors. So like I actually think that 4 role should be most of the time more of a core than your offlane. Like you do more damage. You want more like late game items like your items because this guy he's gonna build like veils and blinks and these like pseudo damage pseudo core items that are kind of more utility. Whereas like you actually are needed to do damage in the late game. So yeah, if it makes your game good to go to the shrine, I would say just go for it, but make sure to ask people first. If you're a 5, maybe it's a little bit different, but I really think like your job at this point in the game is so important. 4s are just important. Like you definitely want to view yourself as a core and just say like, fuck my team. If something's good for me, just do it because it's usually going to be good for your team if it's good for you.
Yeah, I also think it's basically just like if you can continue to really heavily pressure the lane by having more mana there, I think it's better to just go to the shrine and use the shrine and come back to lane quickly. Because by the time you like get back to base, regen, TP back, and then are in the lane, it's almost like double the time it would take you to walk to the shrine and shrine up and get back to lane. So like, and sometimes in that amount of time, the difference between those two events, the lane will be too hard for you to continue to pressure. So it's like, it's kind of one of those things where you want to make sure, okay, can I continue to pressure the shrine if I have this mana? If yes, go shrine. If not, then you can do what you did.
One thing that I forgot to say about Zeus, by the way, earlier when we were talking about like creep cutting and pulling under the tower, I really think that with this hero in particular, and with like a lot of 4s, like you're a Zeus spammer, right?
God, I fucking love this, man. You guys are destroying them.
Yeah, it's good. But I would say like if you can do anything that makes your game good, you should do it on this hero because if you go late game, you will win. Period. I do not care what you're against. If you have a Zeus in the late game and you lose Dota,
it's your fault.
You shouldn't. You fucking shouldn't because Zeus is like the percentage damage. Have you played Gem TD? It's like a tower defense game. Yeah, and so you know how broken like the Zeus tower is then, right? Like the well, okay, I played it like 2 years ago.
I don't really remember. Yeah.
Okay, so basically the Zeus tower, like as the game progresses and things get more and more HP, it becomes like unbelievably broken. Like you literally need to have it, and it has Zeus's abilities. So, and then like you also see other heroes in Dota that have like their tower versions also be very broken at that period in time. Like the Ember Tower is necessary in like every single build as well because Ember Spirit is absurdly broken in the late game as well. And like Zeus just totally shits out damage. Like you should have double the damage of the next person on your team. So basically, like if you are worried about pulling something under the tower because it's giving them a good lane, I would say don't even worry about it. Like if you're giving yourself a game at the sacrifice of giving your opponents a game, it doesn't matter because like if you can go into the mid and late game and not have fed already, you're going to win. That's just like kind of a general laning stage thing when it comes to Zeus, I would say. And Drow.
I noticed like from watching your stuff, I'm doing like more of a pulling and stacking and stuff. And then I just like if we don't really have a way of killing enemies, then I would just stack the camps, farm some maybe jungle, get some items, and if I see like there's a fight or something, then I go and fight.
Yeah,
that's like the way I'm playing lately, and I like it. Like,
I mean that makes sense to me. Like basically, you got to think of your hero. That's kind of why playing support Zeus is okay. It's because you think of your hero, you're basically like giving your team a huge amount of net worth advantage because of how much damage you do. It's like the ratio to your level versus how much damage you do is probably higher than basically any other hero in the game. So it's
pretty stupid.
It's almost like you're like
I
two heroes
have 2 or 3 times as much damage as the next guy.
Yeah.
Much.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, that's it. That was your note. Okay, I thought you were gonna continue. I guess when it comes to like stacking, if the creep wave on the bot lane, like the lane that you're in, is like if you don't need to be with your Sand King at a certain point, which
stack the ancients,
like stacking ancients for Drow, you can double stack the camps, and you could also actually So this is
to do it sometimes, but I try to do it more often.
So here's a rotation that's like really good that you can start doing. So if you watch Team Secret, almost every single game, what they do is, you know how when the 5-minute bounty spawn, like there's one side of the map that you're owning, and usually you just get those bounties for free, and then the other side of the map, like the enemy team is owning, and then they usually get those bounties. Like it's usually the off lanes. Like typically the off lanes will get the bounties because the off lanes are like applying pressure. So what you can do is at the 5-minute mark, that can be your time where it's like, okay, Sand King can be left alone. Like typically most offlaners at 5 minutes, honestly, they're a pathetic ass offlaner if they can't be left alone at 5 minutes. Yeah. So you can leave at 5 minutes and then show up to the bounty rune fight top. And then that's when you start tri-laning top. And what will happen is you'll get 3 bounties for that. You'll get a kill. And then that allows you to start like rotating between mid and top. Like you've already secured bot. You've already secured the Sand Kings game. And then you can essentially go tri-lane and then win 2 lanes because you've got a kill. You've got 3 bounties, maybe even 4 if you like fight uphill into their bounty. But typically what you'll do is you'll like stand on your uphill, wait for them to come over and just like take a fight. But if you watch Team Secret, YapzOr does that in like almost every game where he'll fucking completely demolish a lane. And then 5 minutes, boom, he's in a tri lane, and he's like fighting the bounty, and it's like he breaks the game because the enemy team's like, what the fuck, Clockwork is here? Like what the hell? And the Zeus is the same thing. Like at that point, you should have level 2 or level 3 in Lightning Bolt. You show up, enemy team is like, fuck, these were supposed to be free. You know, like you take the enemy's free bounties, and it completely fucks over the game. They do that at 10 minutes too, 5 and 10 minutes.
I should keep that.
I actually love that too because, and. You know, I understand why people stay in that bottom lane because technically you're laying against the carry, right? So if you've been obliterating the carry for 5 minutes, you want to continue obliterating the carry. But you probably have gotten the lane to the point where it's
King.
it's easy enough for your offlaner to where the carry's still going to be contested somewhat. Maybe not as much. Maybe they won't die, but they're still going to be contested somewhat. And then you can go and save your carry from getting obliterated, which basically takes the equal scales and then suddenly shifts them like really heavily in your favor.
Exactly. It's just an equation. It's like percentages. Like you stay in that lane with like timer's up, but I'll finish this thought. Like you stay in a lane with like a Sand King and make the carry like 10% more miserable, or you can TP top and make that lane like 90% more miserable because like fuck, there's a Zeus here. Like all of a sudden it's a tri lane. There's this super high level like owning Zeus showing up. They fuck up and they don't get the bounty rune, so you get 3 bounties.
Yep.
And then also that means that you can rotate mid after that, and then you fuck up the mid lane, and all of a sudden from the off lane you've essentially won three out of 3 of the lanes, and yeah, it's pretty good. Like you'll win a lot of games just from like making that rotation. And it's not like obviously it's not something you should do every single game. It's just when you keep it in mind, you'll start recognizing the situations where like, oh, this would be good. Okay, I'm gonna do this game. Like this guy seems like he can be left alone. He's contesting the carry fine enough on his own. I can actually make a rotation top, go at 4 minutes 30 seconds, even with a smoke. Like you could do that and just show up. And a lot of the time, like the game will just break at that moment, and you'll have this net worth lead that shouldn't be there because you made a good rotation, and then you don't even need to play Dota. Like good rotations are actually super nice for just not having to play Dota.
Right. And I haven't done enough research lately. I just wanted to ask a quick question. Rushing Ags, is this just standard, or would you go?
Nah. If they have really
first?
tanky heroes like Pudge, Lifestealer, Mars, that kind of stuff, I go for Bloodstone. I go like Boots, Lens, Tranquils with what's it called? Windlace, and then I go Bloodstone and Octarine, so I can spam more. Like I have unlimited mana, and I can spam a lot, and I will go for talent for the passive talent.
Well, yeah, that makes sense to me.
And if they have like really squishy heroes, I just go Boots and Aghanim. Yeah, and then I might go like Dagon. So I just like Nimbus, Bolt, ult, Dagon, and someone just disappears pretty much.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's like good build. But once again, like I think with how much you spam this hero, it like doesn't surprise me that you've got
it figured out.
Good logic when it comes to like item choices. It does not surprise me.
Yeah, I've tried like everything.
Yeah.
Cool.
You're almost immortal, man.
Yeah,
keep grinding.
Get in there.
Yeah, I've been playing with other heroes lately, and like lost some, gained some MMR, didn't really raise up much. Started doing Zeus again, I'm winning a lot. So
what a surprise.
Guess I'm gonna keep doing Zeus. Yeah.
It sounds like you probably want to pick the more like core heavy 4 roles. So let me see if I can like let me see what are other heroes that like fit that archetype.
I was playing Bounty Hunter, but
I was going to say Bounty. The only thing is like that's a very specific. The only thing is that's a very specific play style that's not like Zeus at all. But he's a core. That's the thing. It's like
I
if you
really
can
like
learn
playing
BH, it's
Bounty,
good.
but I feel like if I don't snowball at the early game, then I usually don't really get to do anything.
Yeah,
because like
Bounty,
they have wards on like whole map all the time.
With Bounty, you're like either poverty mode or you're a god. What I would recommend on Bounty is always carry 2 sentries, and you place a sentry at the entrance to both of the enemy's jungle entrances. And the reason for that is because if they're not bad, then they're going to place a ward and a sentry at the entrance to their jungle. And so that's a free D ward. And then also that means that you know that you can just walk through there and fuck somebody up in their jungle. And if they don't have the ward sentry combo there, then you know that there's no sentry there and you can walk through and fuck somebody up in their jungle. Like I think that's a really important thing for BH. But I don't know. That's a super BH. Like that's a really specific hero. One sec. Let me think of like another kind of core-esque Zeus.
How about Shaman or Shaker?
Yeah, I like Shadow Shaman.
I think the thing is,
they're
different play styles though. Like
Lion.
Shaker's like the wombo combo guy. Shadow Shaman's the
Lion's kind of like that. Lion, you want to play?
I've played a lot of Shadow Shaman. I don't really play Lion.
Lion, Rubik.
I haven't tried him that much.
I think like an Enigma can be greedy like a Zeus, but he's like the.
I play Sky a lot.
Such specific. Oh, Sky, yeah, Sky Zeus. Sky is fucking Zeus. That is Zeus.
You actually reviewed one of my Sky games last time.
It's just that Sky's a bad hero. That's the only problem. Like that hero's
Really?
dog. I don't think it's good. I think it's a bad hero. Like he doesn't do
I
enough.
feel like I don't impact with him as much as with Zeus.
Yes, yeah, I agree. Like the hero,
He
you
does the
need to
same
really-
thing as Zeus, but he's worse, basically. So
shittier.
you might as well
Yeah.
just
You
play
need to
Zeus.
snowball really hard to be useful. Like maybe
I
try
really
Doom.
like the thing with Zeus that he gives vision. Like that's really huge for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because like I spam ultimate and I always know where the enemy team is pretty much, and I can deward all the wards and sentries for free, and I also get gold for it. Like I just
Yeah. Super
hit
good.
the bolt and it's like
It's-
plus
it's
100 gold
really
for
good.
free. Yeah.
Damn,
Yeah,
now I
on
want
Sky,
to. Now I
usually
want to play
just go,
Zeus.
like-
I know. Can we finish this replay review session so I can go play some
Yeah.
Zeus?
All right.
All right, dude. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks. Yeah.
All right. Let me get the next one in. He's good at Zeus. He's really good at Zeus, actually.
Yeah, agreed. That quelling blade, that's something I need to remember to do every single game.
Yes, it's broken. Like it's what makes the hero such a good support.
Yep.
Okay, we got the Zuck. Unless I'm missing any.
Do you want to do the one that I posted?
Sure. Is he around with Discord?
He is.
He has QB after boots. Yeah, I think that's.
His
There's no point in having it for like the laning stage.
name is Do Your Best. Our Discord.
Do your best. That's a good name. That's a sweet name. Is he Alcluminati?
I don't know. I'll make him.
Do you have to manually make people Alcluminati?
No, it's supposed to do it through
Through Patreon? Oh, that's cool.
but sometimes people are not linking their Discord to their Patreon, and then I have to do it manually. But yeah, just search for him.
Do your best. There he is. All right, let me jump to him and add him as a friend. So yeah, he's here. He's here. Nice. Cool. Let's get him in here. All right, I'll be back one moment. Blow my nose.
Sure. Go ahead and load into the game. So yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Hope you guys are enjoying the replay review session this week. Your games are going well. Let me know in chat what you guys are playing. What's your hero of choice for the week? What do you think is really strong? Gotta know. Hello?
Hey, how's it going?
Yo, welcome.
Hey, I was actually on mute. I'm like, what's going on here?
Trying to talk to us.
Yeah. Thanks for taking me call, man. I know it was last minute.
What up? Oh shit. What up?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you? I love your name.
Fantastic. Thanks. Trying to keep it PMA, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good shit. That's good shit, dude. There's not enough of that in the Dota community.
Definitely. All right.
Not always perfect at it, I got to admit, but you know what? Well, let the name do the talking, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, that's the thing. We're all human. We all fuck up.
So
Sure
what hero are we looking at in this one?
Pangolier.
Pango. Wow.
Much like the last guy, I'm a bit of a spammer. I found Pangolier, fell in love with the hero, and just
Are you
suits my
Irish?
playstyle.
Hello?
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
Where do you live?
currently.
Okay, where are you from in Ireland?
Cork.
Cork. Okay, my family's from Belfast. My mom's over
No
there.
way.
Yeah, my mom's over there right now.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Beautiful.
Hell
Yeah, they got great accents up there.
Yeah, they do. I can
Yeah,
barely
dude.
understand my fucking cousins.
That's the best. Dude, one of my favorite people in the Dota scene is
Shane?
No, not Shane. His name's Jesper or Yolmust. He was the editor-in-chief for Liquipedia for like 4 years, and now he works for Team Liquid. and he's the guy that got me my start writing for Team Liquid or writing for Liquipedia, and basically got me into esports. And he's Swedish. He's this fucking huge ass Swedish dude, but he lived in Ireland for like 5 years working for HP, and so he has this like hardcore Irish accent.
That's so funny,
dude. I want to retire in Ireland. That's the dream. That's crazy that you're from Ireland and living in Canada, because that's what I am. I'm from Ireland and living in Canada. I just came here like 20 years ago.
What can we say? It's a beautiful place, right?
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. I like Canada. People are not dicks here. Well, behind your back there.
See, in Ireland, the dicks right to your face, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I love it.
No problem with it.
That's better that way.
Dude, my mother, my in-laws, they're Brazilian, and my mom is like super Irish. So they met at one point, and apparently it's in Brazilian culture to just like fuck with each other and make fun of each other. And it's great because that's what Irish people do as well. They're just like taking the piss out of each other, you know? And so they met, and they're just like they instantly fell in love with each other because they're both just giving each other shit, making fun of themselves, making jokes. It's great, dude. You know what it is? It's because the Brazilians and the Irish people have just both been like fucked for so long that at a certain point you just like start making fun of your situation. It's like, well, fuck it, you know. If it's gonna be awful, we may as well make jokes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It was soon after the potato famine. Everyone was like, fuck it, it's all gone to shit.
Exactly, dude. The fucking potatoes, man. All right, what hero are we looking at here?
Pango, dude. He's platinum tier Pango. Offlaner.
Jesus Christ. It's super blurry, but you know, that's how she goes sometimes. So let's see. Who you laning against?
Monkey King, Crystal Maiden. He has a Pudge support.
Okay, that's a hard lane. I would probably say, what happened with the second wave situation?
Did you pull the second wave? It did not get cut. No.
Yeah, that's the number one. That's a number one thing that I would definitely do. I would say on like Pango in general, you probably want to do that a lot. So when you want to like cut the second wave or like drag the wave or do whatever you're doing this like cheesy shit behind the tower, usually you do it when you're not sure that you're going to completely like dumpster the lane. If the lane has any chance of you like getting nothing in it, you just do it. And I think with Pango, like he's such a weak laner, but he's such a good hero that you basically like you want to cut in almost every game. In fact, you could even be left solo, and what people do is they'll grab the wave.
Nice,
exactly
you're
like
doing it now.
that.
Perfect.
Yeah, you definitely want to do it like a little earlier. Well, as early as possible. Like timing.
That was going to be my question, because I cut it pretty much almost every time I can after this. But in regards to cutting the second wave, and if you're a solo hero, for example, do you just dumpster the first wave, like you just forget about it and just go cut?
Yeah, what a lot of people will do at that time, like this is a competitive thing, and in pubs, obviously, like your team is morons, so they probably won't do it. But what people do in competitive is they'll like give a support level 2 on the first wave. So I even saw I saw Crit from EG. I saw he got Ion Shelled as a Magnus on the first wave, and then he just last hitted everything on the first wave. And he showed up to a tri-lane as like a level 2 Magnus and just fucking dumpstered it because he was level 2, and it was like super sick. But yeah, I would say like if you're solo against 2, especially on Pangolier, who's like a weak laner, you can kind of like chill in the area and get XP. But then like the moment like the creep wave you see on your side of the map, like where your creep wave is, the moment that like gets, you know, halfway between the tier 2 and the tier 1, that's when you want to head over and just like prepare to cut it. It depends on how good the support is at like stopping you. Sometimes supports are like really good at stopping you from cutting the wave, and you need to just like say fuck the first wave. But I would say like in this particular situation, you can literally just soak the first wave by yourself and then run over and maybe miss like 1 or 2 creeps to get it, and that's fine. Like that's better than sacking an entire wave. But I think cutting like every wave you can is actually the correct choice in this one. Because you're a Pango, the hero's like amazing after the laning stage, dog shit in the laning stage. And then like if they come try to stop you doing this, you just jump away. Like there's nothing that they can do.
Yep, agreed. Nice. You're even pulling this into the bounty.
Get the bounty, yeah. Great. Yeah. Beautiful. Good shit.
It's worked out so perfectly. I'm so happy with this.
Yeah. This is good stuff. And you can just drag it into the tower if this happens. It's fine. Once again, like anytime I drag into tower like that, I always try to like make something with the double wave. So I'll try to like pull the next creep wave to the hard camp because the double wave is going to push under their tower, or like I'll dive them, or I'll run past the tower and cut the next wave. Like I almost always try to use the double wave to actually like accomplish something.
It's some type of pressure or some sort of a...
Yes. exactly some pressure or just benefit to you that there's a double wave.
Yeah, I
This is
would spend.
not
I would spend your gold.
super-
By the way, you have 1,300 gold that you
Oh
haven't
yeah,
spent on anything.
that's a
I
javelin.
think I get a javelin here now.
Yeah, that's a javelin right
Okay.
there.
Cool.
I was a
There
little
it
slow
is.
on it though.
Yeah, javelin rush is like the. I mean, as a platinum Pangolier, I assumed that your item choices would be correct, but like javelin rush is definitely what people are doing.
Okay.
You know what? I've been trying to play around with different item choices, especially I heard one of your videos, Jenkins. You were talking about getting, and I believe it was Nature's Prophet getting an early Bassi.
What about
and an
my
early,
videos? You don't learn from mine?
I learned from all y'all videos, but it was specific to the Nature's Prophet guide, and I'm like, oh, I wonder would that work in Pangolier? I got shat on in lane.
You got shat on? Yeah.
It was so bad.
I've
Like
tried.
10 minutes.
I've
Sorry, go on.
tried like sorry, there's a bit of like a ping, but I've tried things other than javelin first. Like javelin first just feels so good on this hero. Like if you can get it early, like the enemy team just melts to your Q.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
No quelling blade.
Like-
Somebody's asking in chat.
Yeah, no, people don't really usually go quelling blade on Pango because like
Unless I'm mid lane, I never buy it.
yeah, because number one, like slot issues. This hero does have slot issues.
Mhm.
Number two, you're securing CS with your Q, and also you're like cutting waves and shit all the time. So,
Right, so it doesn't really matter.
yeah, it's not really it doesn't. You don't really use the quelling is the thing. Like if you do get it, I would say you have a severe lack of clarities. I know. I just watched my buddy Lukey play this hero, and he's like probably the best Pango in North America. He's very
Right.
good.
He
Yeah,
only plays Pangolier.
He only plays Pango. He's actually like criticized heavily because like he'll play on competitive teams because he's like rank 50 or something. But then Pango gets banned and he's like kind of useless. Like he's
He's
yeah,
probably like a 5 to 5.5k player with every other hero but Pango or something like that.
he's getting good. Like he's good at Mars, but Mars is not a hero in competitive, and he's good at Axe, but Axe is bad. So it's like it's kind of just Pango right now for him, which I get. Like I'm kind of limited. Luckily for me, like Pudge is really good right now. So, but anyway, yeah. So what I see him do is like when he sends a javelin out, he'll send like 3 clarities, and sometimes I'll even see him send like literally 7 clarities out at once.
You need a lot on this hero.
You need a lot, yeah. And he'll also go for mana boots. He'll send out clarities, and sometimes like he'll get even like a bottle or something like that. Although I don't know, bottle is good when you like can secure the bounties and actually use like a lot of the time you'll see somebody pick up a bottle. Number one, if there's like no bottle hero in the game, and then also like if it's hitting the 5-minute mark and you're like, oh, I fucking desperately need to regen. That's a lot of the time when you'll see like a bottle is like a situational pickup.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say, yeah, you gotta send out more clarities because you could be pressuring this guy like really hard. I think like this guy, the moment you get the javelin, nobody should be able to lane against you. That's
Yeah,
like why the timing is so important.
You just do so much fucking damage.
Right. I like that you sent out a smoke because I really think that this hero is incredibly good at like making a rotation when you have your 6 or having somebody like rotate to you like this, exactly this. Like you're literally doing it. And then you mango, which is probably going to get you another
Boom,
Q, and he
nice.
dies. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
beautiful.
But with that being said, you could have done that earlier if you had like gotten yourself mana. I'm not sure what the shrine situation is because I can't see it on the map because it's blurry to me. But you could also shrine. But even if you're shrining, like as you walk back to the shrine, I would say like send out clarities. Like the number one thing with this hero is the fact that his shit costs so much mana. That's like his biggest problem.
Yep.
Something I've never thought of before actually is just with the first major item to flying out to clarities. Then usually I'm kind of reactive instead of proactive when it comes to clarities, especially.
Yeah, definitely be proactive. It'll change your entire life.
It
that
will,
you have mana
yeah.
like 80% of the time that you need it instead of 5%.
Yeah, that's why Lukey, like, he sends out 7 at a time. And it looks like a fucking sick joke, right? But, like, for the next, like, 30 to 40 minutes, you're going to use them. Like, it's not like you're not going to use them.
Yeah.
100%. And just to have them then at the time you need them is beautiful.
Right. Like, you never have to leave the lane for a second, and all of a sudden this Monkey King steps up, you full mana, you use your Q on him, you get a couple of lucky procs, you use your ult, he dies, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But,
okay, so I do have a question then, because this was one of the games where I thought I actually had a decent lane-in stage, and then things just went to crap at a certain point. And I thought it was because, as you can see mid, we have an alchemist, and I knew right away he was just going to be farming the little triangle or his own jungle.
Yeah.
And he pretty much took over the game. So I then thought to myself, instead of trying to just solo this lane, I should have been the one trying to pressure him. but maybe not. Maybe it's just that I didn't play my lane well enough to have the right timing.
Okay,
I'm
yeah.
not really
So
sure.
there's like a few ways of dealing with Alchemist. Like, okay, so you
actually
mentioned
could rush a. You could rush. Well, you have a pudge. I was gonna say you could rush a spirit vessel if you want.
Spirit Vessel is good. Yeah, okay, so with Alchemist, like when it comes to the triangle, there's a reason that it's going to get nerfed. Like it is really hard to pressure the triangle. So you're not wrong in saying that, like, what do I do? It's like, well, sometimes nothing. Sometimes there's nothing you can do because the triangle's bullshit, which is why Drow's so strong. But basically, like you have a few options when it comes to pressuring Alch. Like you can pressure your lane so hard that you're just like getting towers everywhere on the map, and the game just like kind of closes in on him, and then you just don't care that he's farmed. Or you can like cut the wave top, apply a lot of pressure top, get somebody to TP to that tower and try to defend it, and then you TP into your jungle and smoke with your team to like ward and go kill the Alch at his triangle. I would say that let's see, what are the heroes that you have? You have is it an OD?
OD, Morphling, Sand King, Pudge. I think giving your lane to the Sand King is really good. You give the lane to the Sand King, you go pressure because you're
I was gonna say, like, I think actually a really good play that you can do is you go to the bot lane and Morphling goes top, or even Morph could play with you and you just like jungle near the Morphling. But I think you need to put your hero with another core earlier to get towers. Like you can smoke and then just do what you did to the Monkey King, except do it in the bot lane into like the Necrophos, and then you get the tower. And then like slowly the map will close in on the Alchemist, and then pressuring his triangle is not hard. The problem with pressuring the triangle right now is that they have all their tier 1s available. So like if you go into their triangle, you are just fucking surrounded by death.
Yep.
You know? But so what time is it into the game?
14.
So I would say, like, if this is a competitive game, right, like what'll happen is your team will probably rotate to you because it's easy to pressure the safe lane and you're really strong against this Monkey King. And like, there's a lot of reasons they'd probably rotate to you, but it's not competitive. It's a pub. So your team's not going to do anything. So you have to do everything. So basically what I would recommend is like, instead of like focusing on owning your lane more, like these guys are already owned. You already fucking put the fear of God into their hearts. That's good. You need to go to another lane and own them as well, and like secure that tower, because your team's not going to come to you. But you need to start using your advantage to actually get towers and to take control of the map. Because maybe your team will do that with you if they're good, but a lot of the time they won't. So you just want to make like an aggressive rotation. And I see Lukey do that on Pango all the time. He'll literally just like smoke and run to like the mid lane and take the tower, like kill whoever's defending it, take the tower, and then all of a sudden when the mid lane's gone, well, triangle's not as secure anymore because you can just walk into either jungle from the mid lane and nobody's going to see you. I would say that's like the biggest thing this game. Sorry.
Yeah.
Do I want to do that at level 6 or just when I get my first power spike?
Honestly, I would say like so you can do it either. It just depends on like when you are confident that you're strong. I would say level 6 is a good power spike to do that on, and then also the javelin is a good power spike to do that on. If you're 6 when you have the javelin, like these are timings where.
And also, if you feel like you can actually take the towers, like, you know, if you just because you get your javelin, if you have like a mid, you know, OD who can't really hit towers.
I definitely think
you want to time it. You want to time it with a catapult wave, probably.
With a catapult, yes, exactly. Like I would say like if you go take bounties, and then after the bounties, the catapult, of course, spawned. Then you go to the mid lane. Like that's a really good time to rotate. But basically, what I'm seeing in this game is you are an incredibly high skilled Pangolier player, but you're not using the advantage that you have to get anything on the map. Yep. So like you're doing the hard part, but you're not doing the easy part of just like taking the fact that you're really
showing up.
Yeah. So you basically like what you're doing right now, I think should happen like 7 minutes earlier or something like that. And with another core in your lane, like your OD should not be hitting Joel. You guys should. My computer actually just was going to sleep mode because I didn't move my mouse for so long. But yeah, basically like putting 2 cores in a lane is how you get towers. Is you just put 2 cores in a lane, enemy team shows up, you fucking wipe them if they come defend that. And the problem with doing that like later on into the game is it gets easier and easier and easier and easier for them to defend towers, because that's just the nature of power spikes. Like you have this power spike because you're Pangolier. And if they show up to try to do what they're doing here, they die because you're way stronger than them. But you've taken so long at doing it that now they're strong too. Yeah. So they can actually.
That was the issue.
Yeah. So that's why timings matter so much in Dota, is because like there hits a point where you're strong and they aren't, and then there hits a point where you're strong and they are too. So it's just a full 5-on-5 engagement. And if you don't have like the the important towers to take at that point, then you can just lose against like a better late game lineup, and it really sucks when that happens. Once again, I really think it's like a case if you did the hard part but not the easy part.
Yeah, I actually really
Like
love this boost of travel, by the way, because you just provide so much threat anytime you show up anywhere that being able to show up for every fight is perfect.
I've done like a ton of I can't stress how much I love this hero, but I've done a ton of research on like different Smurfs playing Pangolier, different pros playing Pangolier, and the one build that I loved was the boot to travel into bottle build, like to be able to just be everywhere.
Yeah,
Provide so much threat with a javelin is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really good. So you can see here how like they're strong now, but they weren't able to do what they just did to you there. Like you can do everything. You basically have a free game like when you have the javelin at level 6 and they're really weak. But now they're strong, and like the fight still didn't go that poorly because you're just that fucking huge.
Oh, it went real bad.
Well, it went pretty bad.
It went real bad.
But still, like you didn't get like 4 for nothing. Like you actually you at least you killed the supports, you know, and you could see the glimmers of like hope there. But if you do that earlier, it's like there's no fucking way like not even a relic Alk can fight you. He just dies and feeds.
Yep.
That's the thing is like you can pressure people out of the triangle by just pressuring towers because they're gonna be like, oh fuck, I'm losing my map. They'll show up, they'll die, and then all of a sudden they're not a problem.
Yeah.
Or they don't show up and then they lose the tower.
If there's one thing I cannot stress enough about pubs is that if you have an advantage where you are the strongest hero on the map or you have the ability to kill anybody, you need to be as aggressive as fucking possible towards pushing objectives. Because chances are they're going to run away from you until they're strong enough to fight you. But you can force them to run towards you if you go at their objectives. And chances are that in pubs, they're going to show up one at a time and allow you to solo kill them over and over and over and just lose the game immediately because of that.
Right. It's literally as simple as just putting your hero in a lane where like they don't want you to be. Like put yourself with some other strong person and then they literally can't fight you. Or they do fight you and they lose. And in either case, like you just get a shitload of stuff.
Either you get all of their towers and all their map control, or you just kill all of their heroes and simultaneously shut them down while snowballing out of control. So it's like there's no bad option there if you're the strongest hero on the map.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Because I know you guys got to go. So again, from watching both of your videos, what I've learned is one of the biggest things that's helped me climb like 1,000 MMR in the last little bit because I was like 1K. Is the ability to like split push a lot and just be that pressure on the opposite side of the map.
Yep.
Yeah. So the reason why I like Pangolier is because he's just amazing at blasting out waves and, like I said, being everywhere at once. What are some other heroes that are good at doing that? Because that's, you know, I want to be able to stretch my hero pool. And second question on that, when you're overdoing that versus doing it the right amount, like your team is feeding on the opposite side of the map, you know, you show up or you don't, you have to make that decision.
So to answer your first question, I'm glad you're an offlaner because this is like so easy for me because it's the fucking role that I play.
Mars.
Bat Rider kills. Yeah, Mars. I mean, Mars is a busted hero. Mars, Bat Rider, Sand King, basically like all of the popular offlaners, like Centaur even. All of the popular offlaners right now have some way of like cutting creep waves easily, and then pushing waves fast, and then showing up to fights. Like the offlaner's job is to like simultaneously split the enemy team up, and then show up to fights where the enemy team has split up. So like you're winning the fights by making them not be there, and then you're being there as well.
Yep.
So like any hero that, basically most heroes that you see in competitive right now, except for Doom, are able to push out waves really quickly. And people will even like max in power on Magnus and shit, so they can do that quicker.
Yep.
And like you said, Pangolier is really good at that. Like, I cannot stress how much timing matters. A hero being able to do that safely and quickly is so much better than something like, let's say, an Earthshaker who has to walk up, fissure, enchant totem, hit creep, hit creep, hit creep, hit creep, then it's done, right? That's 2 to 3 seconds where they can kill you. Whereas Pango's just like, and he's fucking gone. Like you can't die on that hero. So if you are playing something like an Earthshaker or some hero that can't do it as quickly as Pangolier, the sacrifice is that you should do the same thing that you do on Pango, which is basically press one spell in the wave and then leave, except you're not going to get the CS.
Yep.
That's the only thing.
Because it'll still push the wave out because your creeps will
wave.
just do more damage than theirs.
Yes. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Or will kill the creeps faster than their creeps will kill yours. Yep.
So it's still accomplishing the same thing. You're just not getting paid.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. It's unfortunate, but it's still good. It's still better than not doing it. And when it comes to like when should you not do that, basically like the way I see Dota right now, and I shouldn't. This is fucked because I've gotten coaching in the past couple of weeks, so I'm like super influenced by the people that I've been like talking to. But basically, the way Dota works right now is like you avoid the enemy team in a really efficient way, where you only take like pickoffs and shit. Until you hit a power spike where you literally just want to fight them. And when you do want to fight them, generally as an offlaner, you should just already be there, and it should be like the carry's job to split the enemy team up, and then they collapse with you, and then it's a 5v5. But like they farm in a way that they can farm and then get to you when the fight actually starts. Like a good carry will do that. When it comes to pubs, people aren't really going to do that. So like you can be that person, but make sure like if you are cutting a creep wave and you're applying that pressure on the map, that you're doing it in a way that you can collapse with your team. So AKA you're in two adjacent lanes. Like you don't want to be doing it top when your team is fighting at their tier 2 bot, because then you can't get to them. But you can do it top when your team is fighting the tier 1 mid, because then you can cut the wave and then immediately dart over to the mid lane, sort of thing. Or if you have bots, or if you have a TP and they're fighting at a tier 1, basically you need to think like, how quickly can I collapse to my team and get to a fight? Because your job is not just to split them up, it is to simultaneously do that and then also fight. However, with that being said, sometimes that's what you do on power spike. So if you feel strong enough to fight, that's what you do. But if you just don't want to fight at all, then you don't even show up to fights, period. You don't even worry about collapsing. You just worry about taking like the most efficient and painful farm for the enemy team to deal with on the map. So cut it to fucking tier 3 and shit, and that's fine. But when you do have a power spike, and I would say most offlaners, like laning stage ends, you're strong, you probably want to fight. You want to do it in a way that you can collapse with your team.
Nice. I like it that you're muting your whole team. I would also say buy a defensive item. Buy a defensive item.
Oh, yeah.
Like buy Yule Scepter and then you never die this game, basically.
Yep. Even like a blink. I know people go like Greaves, Mech, and stuff, but I don't know. For pubs, I do really like Travels. I think Travels are. You're going for Yules. Yeah, good shit.
Yeah, I just think you needed this earlier instead of the bottle. But that's just.
I think bottle's fine because you have Travels, but.
I'm just saying timings. We're talking about timings. Get the defensive item earlier than you think you need.
But that's why a lot of time people won't go Travels. Like it's good on Pango, but it's a 2,000 gold item that like you could be spiking and you're just spending all of your net worth on like a 2,000 gold item when you'd want to be strong. I like it for pubs, and I just think that like the way that you should play is avoid fighting until you get like Travels plus another. Like it's like a split push item, and you show up to fights that only look really, really good. Like you should never die because you're only showing up to fights where it's like you take like a free kill in the fight.
Right.
And you just ignore your team. Like Travels is like a split push item.
Yep.
So I think it should dictate the way that you play, and then when you get the Yules, you start showing up to fights and stuff. But yeah, I think it's fine. You just need to like change the way that you play.
Cool.
Anyway,
that's probably time,
sweet.
right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thank you guys. Appreciate your time again.
Yeah,
Thanks a lot, man.
Let me jump on here.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see you next week with 1,000 more MMR.
We're probably cousins, man. Who knows?
Probably. What's your last name?
Morrissey.
Oh, mine's Jenkins. Oh, you should call yourself Morrissey.
All right, boys.
All right, see you later.
Thanks, appreciate it. Have a good one.
I'm streaming with a fucking idiot. Help me.
Hey, man, he's not that big of an idiot. Come on, don't be rude. Do your best as a great guy. Get the hell out of here. Bastard.
All right, the Zuck is next, yeah?
Yes. Let's get him in here. Let's see. Is he here? Let me message him. The Zuck. Jesus, his picture. Hey, buddy.
Mine
hey,
is
big boy.
Jenkins.
It is, man. I'm not lying to you. You think I would lie to you?
Why is my match data not found on this? That's not good.
Can you do a video on where should each position farm during the game? Hello, hello!
Can you double check that match ID?
Sure. Let me look. Let me give her a gander.
Yeah, I'm not finding that match number on Dota Buff either.
Huh. Okay.
Rip.
I'm asking him. I'm asking him. How to rank up in Legend 6 to Ancient, please. Doesn't it go Legend and then Ancient?
Yeah.
Isn't that like 100 MMR that you need to earn?
Yeah.
See, I don't think it makes sense to talk about the brackets. Like, you can say, okay, this is like by percentage a common problem in a bracket, but you might not have that issue. You might have some other issue. If you are in a bracket, you deserve to be there. It might be for mechanical reasons. It might be for rotations. It might be because you're playing the lanes bad. It might be because you're not picking the right heroes. There are so many possible reasons. And yes, there are commonalities in the brackets. But to say something that's specific for you would require essentially a
full-time coaching session.
A full-time coaching session. And that's why we have so many videos, is because it's like, hey, here's a problem you might have. Here's how to fix it. Here's a problem. And, you know, most of the people that watch our videos probably look and they're like, oh, I don't have that problem. I'm going to watch this anyway because Jenkins and Donnie are such fucking great guys and their voices sound so amazing and silky smooth like Jaoni's. But, you know, a lot of people, I'm sure, don't have the same problems that we talk about in a lot of the videos. Like maybe the rotation video that I just made, people do that rotation. I know support players might do that. But for the people that don't, that's kind of like where I'm hoping it'll help.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
All right, let's keep it moving if we're not going to get this guy in here.
Yeah, number was wrong before. Can you give me 8 to 10 minutes for dinner? Sure. We'll do you after. Okay. We'll do you after.
JCJ in chat, what up? What up, John?
JCJ. Might be because you spammed your recal cough. It might be. I know I fucking did.
Me too.
Lowy Val. Did we do Lowy Val already? Was that just? No, we didn't. We did low. I see. I forget. Like from. Okay, it's all capital letters. That's why I thought it was the same. Okay. He can't call in, so he says can't call in as in a different time zone. Played tied off in this replay. Not my best performance. We lost offlane and safe lane quite hard, but at least there is a lot to improve. What to do at 13 minutes, 29 seconds after the enemy denies the safe lane tier 1? All comments about the lane matchup and laning will help me a lot. Okay. Another laning video. No problem.
Yep.
No problem.
All right. Before I even look at it, cut the second wave. All right, let's move on.
Yeah, we'll go next. We'll go next. Let's see. This is about 92 minutes in. I'll let him know that he's
Have you made a video saying that you should cut the second wave every single game? I know you've made videos of offlaners where you're like, you should cut the wave. But have we just made a video that's like, if you're not doing this, then you shouldn't play offlane?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because that's probably a really easy clickbait video to make. If you do not do this, do not play offlane.
Okay,
period.
I mean, I made the cheese the lanes video.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Maybe I should be more specific. I don't know.
Whatever.
Because it is something you should do like almost every single game. Okay, yeah. So let's look.
Okay, Coddle Tide against a Veno.
Ooh, you're against Veno. That is probably why this game was so hard. Yeah. I bet you laned into a Veno. Okay. One critique that I have here is trading with your opponents that trade better with you, and you could just wait. You could just literally wait until the runes spawn and then come out and take the runes and trade with them a little bit. But I think it's like when you're against Veno PA.
No! Buy a fucking magic stick.
I mean, I don't really care about calling first.
Magic stick against a PA.
I don't really care. I think.
But anyway, to your point, yes. If you basically just took a bunch of unnecessary damage because you were trying to trade them.
And now you're 4 tangos.
Yeah.
and he's got you to half HP. That's like almost all your tangos that should be gone from that.
Yeah.
So now you have to play really far away from the creep wave because you're sitting at an HP threshold where the PA could just bully you and the Veno could just run at you. So you have to play really scared. All right, you should definitely not buy an item from the main shop with your starting goal. Like, you should buy a stick with that money.
Stick boots.
Yeah, if you watch Brax play, every single game, he just has stick, boots, quelling blade in his quick buy.
Yep.
And then maybe, like, crowns. It's always side shop items. It is worthless to have, unless you're feeding, like you guys are. Then you can get your items. Yeah, I definitely think like you need to come to the lane with more regen too. You're struggling against the Venomancer and the PA, so you need to like bring a salve or even two. And honestly, fuck this lane. Like fuck this lane at this point. You're level 2. You've Kraken Shell. You have a Quelling Blade. You could actually cut the creep wave right now. There's no reason that you need to sit here and get bullied by this guy. This is the thing about Dota is that you can pick literally any hero that you want, and there's a reason for that. It's because cutting the creep wave, there's a way to cheese every single lane, and as an offlaner, it's by cutting the creep wave. Like, you cannot pressure this lane. It's just not. It's not really possible. I mean, you have a coddle.
You actually can pressure the lane by cutting the creep wave.
Well, if you had, you could.
That's how you pressure the lane.
You could have coddle blasting them under tower, but I'm just saying, like, if you can actually pressure a lane, you don't cut the wave.
Yes.
You bully them, but this is like the Veno's fucking destroying you guys. Like. You should have the feeling by now where it's like, fuck this shit. As an offlaner, there's always a point that comes where it's like, all right, this lane sucks. Why am I even laning?
Yep.
It's like,
and the sooner you realize that, basically like how to be a good offlaner in the laning stage is realizing it sooner than later. Is when you're supposed to do something weird to like mess with the lane.
And the thing is, if you walk into the lane with like a bracer and a ring of health, then it's different. Like, then you could actually lane here and bully. But, like, how the fuck are you going to get those items if they're just constantly keeping you at such low HP that your coddle literally needs to give you regen? Yeah. He's just feeding you tangos. This is so hard for you. It's paining me to watch. And there's nothing that you can do in this lane. That's why you just shouldn't lane.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, I look at some of these lanes and it's like, yeah, you're doing what I would do this too if I was laning. The difference is I wouldn't be laning. I'd say, fuck this, I'm out. Dude, it doesn't take a lot for me to say that. Like, fuck this, I'm out. And I swear to God, dude, I never had bad laning stages because cutting the wave.
Literally, and that's so important for everybody watching in chat right now and watching this later, is that if you took okay, this is what? This is a Guardian / Crusader game, so this is about like 1.5k MMR. If you took Jenkins, who is 6.5k MMR, and put him into this lane, and he did not leave the lane or cheese it or cut the creep wave or do anything like that, and try to just play this lane normally and CS like he's doing right now, the exact same fucking thing would be happening to him. He would be getting owned.
I'd be losing.
He'd be getting owned.
You know what I'd be doing? I'd be wasting salves laning here. I wouldn't be dying, but I'd be spending all my money on salves.
He would be getting owned just as hard as somebody who is literally 5,000 MMR lower than him. Like, that's correct. That's where decision making comes in.
Yes.
All right. So
I'm telling you, dude, Dota is all about just putting your hero in the correct place at the correct time. The spells that you press hardly matter. Most heroes in Dota are fucking easy now. Like, they're pretty easy. All right, what's going on here?
Sorry, I was just taking a drink. We're going to the point where he wanted us to look at, where they deny the tower.
I mean, I don't really care if a tower gets denied. That's like a pretty.
Well, he asked for a big time.
Yeah. I know. I'm just saying, like, I would generally say that's like a relatively insignificant thing. Towers are only worth 500 gold, depending, like about 500 gold. I mean, I get it, but it's like.
Oh, he's saying, what am I supposed to do after this tower goes down? Do I go to the safe lane?
Oh, it depends.
Where is he supposed to go next is what his question is.
Yeah, you go to the safe lane in this game. Like, I see a Beastmaster on the enemy team. I see an entire lineup that cannot lane against a Beastmaster, except for you.
Yeah.
So you need to go there because otherwise he's going to take your entire base. Like, Morphling going up here is awful because he actually could be pressuring this bot. You just go and be a brick wall in the top lane. That's what your job is. I would also recommend phase boots. You need armor.
Yep.
Desperately. Like
Really
this hero with
badly.
armor has so much effective HP. Yeah, I think like BSJ would refer to it as the dead lane. I was convinced by a friend the other day that the concept of a dead lane is dead, and honestly, I should make a video about that. Like the dead lane is dead. Like different lanes become dead depending on the time that you're at in Dota. However, when there's a Beastmaster that took the tier 1 top, it's like that hero's going to take over the entire game and farm so quickly and take your entire jungle and deny it from you unless Tide is there. Like nobody can fucking lane this Beastmaster except for you.
Yeah, he's smashing this Morphling.
You can deny the enemy team so much net worth by just being a brick wall up there. Like that's how you need to decide where to go after the tower. Like where can you be the biggest brick wall where it just bothers the enemy team a huge amount.
Yep.
And I think like when you look at this draft, Beastmaster does nothing to a Tidehunter, but he does a lot to a Drow. He does a lot to a Morphling. He does a lot to a Lion. Connell's pretty okay for pushing out that lane too, but he's not a brick wall to the Beast. You are.
Yep.
So this game, I would say it's top, but sometimes, like if you go top, it's like a Monkey King or something. You don't go to a Monkey King.
Right.
You cannot be brick wall to a Monkey King. Sometimes it's mid that you need to go. Like sometimes they're pressuring mid, and if you just go stand in front of the mid tower, they can't take it.
Yep.
Like this hero is a brick wall. You need to think of it like that. There's a lot of brick wall offlaners right now, like Underlord, not really Beastmaster, like
Centaur, Doom,
right? Like if you literally go place yourself in a lane, sometimes the enemy team cannot just like their highest pressure hero can't deal with you, and if you're stopping their highest pressure hero from taking a tower when they should take a tower, and your team is just farming the triangle, like Drow will outfarm anybody. So if your team is just farming during that period and you're just being a brick wall in a lane, then yeah, the enemy team is gonna fucking lose and be really mad and be like, oh, we need to kill this Tide, but he has Ravage, and they're gonna kill themselves.
Yep.
So, and this bot lane I think can be like relatively easily occupied by, well, not easily. Like Morph or Coddle can sit down here and push it out, but I actually think this is the dead lane in this game. Like your team wants to farm your jungle. Morphling will farm your side of the jungle, and Drow will always farm the triangle. So if you just sit top and like secure that area and leave the bot lane to be pushed out by Coddle, I think you guys just outfarm them in this game.
I would say you basically just want to, like, you can win so many games if you just delay the other team from getting done what they want done at the time. Like if you look at their lineup, they have PA as their late game, and that's it. They have like a very strong early mid-ish fighting timing, and then the Beastmaster is going to be shoving down your lanes during that time. And if you can just make them struggle to accomplish that mid-game timing by just what Jenkins is saying, just kind of like standing there and absorbing the pressure, then you allow your entire team a huge amount of space just by simply existing.
Yep. That's kind of the general purpose of like a Tidehunter these days, is just being a wall somewhere.
Yep.
And I don't think you need to do that bot. I don't think that accomplishes much. Yep. Fighting with Ravage is fine. Like you can fight with Ravage. It just there's like two states of Tidehunter, like just running at towers and fighting when your team is strong, or like being a brick wall while everybody's farming. And like Drow and Morph, they're not strong. Like they want to farm. So that's when you just go into brick wall mode. But I mean, honestly, you're always in brick wall mode because when you're in a fight, you want to just run in front of your team and just make the enemy team go on you, then you Ravage. But it's like either you're doing that in a lane and just feeding on your own, or you're doing that with your team and running in and feeding, and then they get a good fight. It's like either or.
Yeah, I think the final thing that I want to comment on this replay is just that you need to shift your perspective from being solely concerned with you getting your farm and your items to where should I be to help my team the most. Because right now I've seen you basically just focus exclusively on your own game. You haven't, like, there was a fight going mid and you didn't even move your camera to look at it. You weren't doing anything at the time. And you continually are putting yourself in a place where some of your other heroes probably would rather be. And you're basically just focusing on, I need to get my items because you have these like item goals as the purpose of playing the hero, as opposed to like a job to do. as a purpose of playing the hero. If that makes sense.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Eddie Mercury, fucking legend, the legend himself. Let's get him in here. So he said, "I'll be available in voice chat. Position 5 Abba, lane is fine. Maybe skim through, see if there are small things to improve. I think the problem is mid game. Felt like I was following my team around on autopilot. Biggest problem, well, that's kind of what Abaddon does. Biggest problem in this game is lack of detection, improper dewarding. Maybe help with knowing when to ward defensively when they hold your jungle." One sec, I'm gonna blow my nose again. I'm losing it here. 1 sec.
Losing it. Damn, we're almost up to 200 people watching us right now. That's crazy. You guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in.
You're a fiend, dude.
We've got almost 200 people watching the stream right now.
Yeah, that's legit. We're legit, dude.
Yeah. Are we the biggest Dota stream right now on YouTube?
Maybe. Probably. People don't really watch shit on YouTube,
Yeah.
stream-wise. Dude, my girlfriend, it was like, okay, I'm going to get 6K at Dota, and then I'm going to stop playing until recalibration. And then 3 hours later, I go out, and she's just fiending Dota. And it's like, holy shit, Ellie, that did not last long.
Wait, recalibration?
It's coming out like 2 months. She's like, I'm going to play my Smurf. I'm going to play my... That's the voice. That's her voice. I'm going to play my Smurf.
Is that what she actually sounds like?
No, she doesn't sound like that.
She sounds like it. I'm gonna play my Smurf.
That's
how
not
she
very
sounds.
nice.
What's up, Eddie?
Hey, not much. How are y'all doing?
Chilling?
You've been feeding Abaddon?
Yeah. I mean, in the early game, properly when you kill yourself and all. I don't think I fed that much.
Oh no, I said fiending.
Well, I thought you said feeding.
No. Well, you feed on Abaddon. That's that's the way she goes. That's definitely the way of the road. But
yeah.
I actually kind of want to learn several more supports, to be honest. Just play in-house league stuff. Yeah, because of the in-house league stuff, they're having me play like Disruptor and Shadow Demon and something else I'm not prepared for. So it'd be nice to get those in my back pocket. But for now, I just picked it because they first picked Shadow Shaman. I'm like, I could play Oracle, but I really like having a strong dispel against Shackles. So why not?
BH too super good against the BH. I think Abaddon and Natures are like the two strongest 5-role supports right now.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything else that like compares to those ones. I think like the drafts in the major made that pretty clear. This hero's like busted as a 5-role. I thought it was strong like 2 weeks ago.
Give me a second. Y'all are really cutting out.
Sure. 1 second. I'm gonna fill up my teacup then. Oh, be right back.
Sorry, can you call me again? This isn't very clear right now. Hang on.
Is that better? Hello?
Hello. Sorry about that.
That's fine. Is that better?
Yeah, I think it's better for now.
Cool.
Hello.
So I get a salve. That's pretty good, I think.
Yeah, you canceled the salve. Do you want to go back to the beginning of this, Jenkins?
No. I think I assume that's good because I think we talked a lot about laning and the other time, and like I see that your items are good. Your items are definitely correct.
Boker comes up to bully you guys off the runes. Fine. This is a pretty rough lane, to be honest. I like that you check his items. You see he has a stick, right? And Brew.
Yeah, they both end up getting one.
Yeah.
It actually turns out okay. Lifestealer gets 6 when the Brew hits 5 and Bounty's 4. So
nice.
we do it.
Yeah, that means you won.
Yep.
That's good shit.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say I'd look to like heal him a lot in this lane. Like you're not really a pressure lane. You're just like a gets pressured and doesn't care lane.
Right. Yeah, back when Warlock was super strong, with Shadow Word being like
70
ridiculously
mana.
overpowered, I won so much MMR just playing Warlock and just sitting behind my carry and just keeping them up. Because none of them brought enough regen to the lane, and I just kept them alive the entire laning stage, and then we won every single time because of that.
Yeah, generally that's like really good to do if you have a strong like late game carry, which Lifestealer now is with like the Radiance build.
Yep.
That just like doesn't want to lose the lane. Okay. If you just support this guy and keep him alive, like he'll win the game for you.
Yep.
For sure.
Okay, so I'm just kind of speeding through this because it seems. I mean, I feel like we've done what, like 3 weeks in a row of your laning stage replays with Abaddon, so we've kind of covered all of that. So let's see. I felt like you were falling mid game, following your team around on autopilot. So let's skip to like 20 minutes.
I do kind of feel like that's what Abaddon does to some degree, though. Like
It is for sure.
Like the items. With lace, casual.
The problem in the mid game is I felt like even though I was doing that, we just lost anyway because they just had slightly more money than us. I don't know why we lost. I guess it's kind of what I wanted you to help answer.
Okay, let me look at something real quick. You're against a bounty hunter and an invoker. I think that this should be like 35 or 40 sentries, to be honest. I know that's hard. I know that's hard because obviously you're a 5, but I think that almost all of your gold should just go towards sentries for.
Like, so what do I stack in my inventory then? If I, like instead of getting tranquils, just stick with brown boots, wind lace, or sentry.
Yeah,
probably.
Yep.
It's disgusting, but it's the way she
goes. Yeah.
As a 5.
Okay, so yeah, I don't think that ever saving your ogre is important.
I was gonna say, like, I think yeah, like that is something that good players would abuse. Like they could get the tier 2, or if they see that you're top, they could like kill somebody bot. Like impulsively TPing is definitely
not good.
Definitely not good, because like a lot of the time you'll see bat riders in competitive play, like they'll literally just firefly over the enemy triangle. And they'll sometimes die, or sometimes they'll just like do nothing. And casters are always like, "What is this guy doing?" It's like he's forcing TPs. Like that's literally it. He's making himself present in the area to make the enemy team think, "Oh, there's a bat here. There's people here," and they force TPs, and then they'll do something like elsewhere on the map. Like for instance, getting the tier 2 top right now.
So if that ogre was a fed for Zeus, would it be better to TP, or should I just leave the Zeus to die?
I'd say like just let him die, because chances are like the entire, unless you have some information that it's not the entire enemy team there, because chances are if you're TPing to like the dead lane like that, you're just TPing into a situation. I love stick on Abaddon. You're TPing into like a situation where he's gonna die anyway, and if the enemy team is good, like they'll follow up by killing you as well. And then you're like staggering TPs in, and you guys get kind of fucked. But the reason they're able to like set up for this here is because of like the TP in, and they know that you can't TP. So if you're not already there, they can just like serpent towards the tower. I mean, to some degree, it's obviously not just like completely your fault or something like that. But people do, even bad players will feel like safe if they know that like Lifestealer showing bot, you show that you TP top. So they know that like there's no way that you guys can be already set up for the tower top, because Abaddon would have to run over, Legion would have to already be there. I would say like generally, if you're most of the time, like 80% of the time, if you're not already in an area waiting to like defend somebody with intentionality, you should just like let whoever is.
This fight's going well, by the way.
Yeah, it's because they're fucking diving tier 3.
Yeah. One small mechanical thing I did want to point out is every time that you have borrowed time active, you should always look to miss oil, because it heals you as well as somebody else.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I mean.
But this doesn't look bad so far. Like you fucked up your team. It was like a slight fuck up, but then you show up and defend with your team, which is correct. So it's like it's such a slight thing. It's just something that I've been thinking about a lot lately. So I wanted to tangent a little bit, but yeah, this is correct so far. You send out wards, 4 of them, because placing 1 ward at a time is complete dog. Your team just want to fight, so this is a perfect time to go ward. You place them deep, which is fucking beautiful. This is perfect because that means you can fight these bounty runes top.
Yep.
And I think that's what you should do. That's what you should look to do right now, is say, hey guys. So this is also something I've been thinking about a lot lately, and this is because I've been watching Team Secret, and this is what they do. on the map, there always tends to be. So yeah, that's where the first big mistake is, I see. So pause for a second because I want to talk about this a little bit.
Sure.
So like what you'll see Team Secret do a lot is there's always bounties on the map that are like free. Like the enemy team just isn't on that side of the map. The enemy team will always be occupying like one side of the map. You'll be occupying the other. Because you want to fight there, like you had somebody bought in the Lifestealer, and he could just go take those bounties for free if he was set up for it. All you need to say is, it's 24:30. Hey, Lifestealer, can you get the bounties bought? And then you call your team to fight on the wards that you place top, and you will get 4 bounties when you do that. And you'll want to fight top because you placed really good vision. So once again, this is like, I said this earlier in another replay review session, you already did the hard part of winning a fight and then placing really good wards because you're a support player. You didn't do the easy part of just calling your team to the bounties and fighting around the bounty ground. Like, even if you have Ogre there, you can secure the bounty that's right on your ward, because if there's too many people there, then you just back off and go get the easy bounty to get, which is on your side. And if there's only 2 people there, then you guys just fight because you're an Ogre and an Abaddon. Who wants to run into that? And if you get 4 bounties at this point, it's like what? So it goes up by 10 every 5 minutes. I don't know. It's like 600, 700 gold, something like that for getting the bounties. Is it 600, 700 gold? Am I wrong about that? How much is it each now?
I don't know.
It's
like a lot of gold.
70 each or something like
that.
It's
Not important. It's just a lot of gold.
Still, you'd get like a 2k net worth lead from getting all the bounties, essentially. Like you would have swapped it would be only a 1k net worth lead for them. So I would say like telling your team to fight around wards is definitely the play. Even if like you just have the Ogre come over, that's all you need. The Legion could also head over. It's good to do it preemptively because then your idiots could like get ready to do it. But like the ward that you placed and the time that you went to ward was fucking amazing, man. Like that's literally what shitty support players don't understand, is like taking those moments and actually going to ward. But you want to make plays around them as well. Like you want to abuse the fact that you're a good support player. Like this fight here, you guys could all be there and wipe them in that fight, I think.
Yeah. I also did want to say that I think you were kind of asking like how can I get more sentries? I think that prioritizing having more sentries than observer wards is actually the way to go in a game like this. Just having like, instead of having 4 obs and 2 sentries, have like 1 or 2 obs and like 4 sentries, because you place 1 obs and then you put like a sentry on one side of it and then you put a sentry on the other side of it, and then you have like this massive area of true-sighted vision.
So just one more question about vision. It is ideal and optimal to play on the other team's side of the map, and it helps to have wards in order to enable your team to do it. But when you have what is it, like a 10-0 and 10 bounty hunter running around your jungle, you can't really count on your team to not get picked off by him if you don't have any wards there. So I don't know how to put wards aggressively and defensively at the same time without going completely bankrupt.
So you need to focus on one or the other. Like basically, is your team going to be able to play aggressively? And if so, then you want to place aggressive wards. But if your team, and this is like a totally game by game thing that you can decide. It can even just be because your team is playing badly and they're playing in your jungle instead of where they should be playing. You can just ward that area if there's a hero that's going to try to pick them off all the time, because your entire job as a support is to empower your team to have the best game possible. And even if your team's decision making and their positioning is not good, if you then help them have a better game in that not good positioning, then chances are you're going to come out okay. Because like if you just have a bunch of sentries protecting like the shitty places that your team is farming, then the bounty hunter is going to run in and just feed over and over and over and over again, because he's going to be there alone, expecting to just be able to feed off them like he has been.
I actually, this is kind of like a high level thing, and once again from like the stuff that I've learned over the past like 2 to 3 weeks talking to players that are like playing on teams, but I actually think the concept of like playing on their side of the map at like exclusively is outdated.
Yeah.
Like the way that you want to play Dota right now is basically you play around being strong on certain timings, and that's when you want to play on their side of the map. But if you can go just even by like warding your own jungle and just focusing on securing your own jungle until, for instance, your Lifestealer gets a Radiance, then when he gets the Radiance, then you go be aggressive, that's fine. Like you just need to worry about doing literally whatever it takes to secure your team farm, whether or not they want to farm on the enemy side of the map. Like you can ward your own jungle if that's what it takes. That's fine. It's just really important that you place wards. You place like good wards that are securing an area that your team actually wants to farm there, and that you play around that area as a team.
Yep.
So like you protect your cores while they're farming there, or you protect your core. Like you don't need to protect anybody in the triangle generally. Like generally you're going to be protecting your cores in their jungle, and then somebody's farming the triangle, or you protect your cores in your jungle, and then somebody's farming the triangle. And if the enemy team wants to fight you and you don't want to fight them, what you do is you move whatever core was farming in your jungle to the triangle, and then move the core that was farming the triangle along with your whole team to their jungle. So you dodge them. You just literally dodge the enemy team, stand on high grounds, and try to break smokes and shit like that until you hit a power spike. And then when you hit a power spike, you can actually just continue farming and wait until they walk up high ground and then fight them, or you can go smoke. Or you can like there's a lot of plays you can make at that point. But basically that point's really important, where you hit a point, we have a power spike, some hero becomes really strong, and then you're like, all right, we're going to take any fight. So we're going to like force a TP, then smoke, or we'll smoke into their triangle, or we'll do this, or we'll take Roche, or we'll... That's a lot of the time what Secret does too. They'll literally use Roche as a method to just, like they'll just have Nisha walk into the pit and literally start hitting Roche. And they don't even care about taking the Roche. That doesn't matter. It's more so like, hey,
the team has
you
to
fight
come
us.
there.
Yeah, you fight us now. We want to fight. You fight us now.
Yeah.
Like that's it. And doing whatever you can to just secure your team's farm. It depends on the hero, right? Like Medusa wants to farm her own jungle and triangle. Like Terrorblade wants to farm their jungle while pushing out the lane with illusions. Alchemist wants to farm his own jungle. Broodmother wants to farm ancients. So like it's where your heroes want to farm. But I think Lifestealer is perfectly fine with like farming his own jungle until he gets Radiance. Like he's fine with being super passive. So I think in this game it's like fine to play in your own jungle.
Yep. And
I know that was like super tangential, but
yeah, last thing I want to say about this is I just have noticed like 3 or 4 times now that Bounty Hunter's gotten away on a sliver of HP because nobody else in your team has dust. So you need to say, guys, buy dust. And if they don't buy dust, then you need to put your dust in their inventory and just use sentries for yourself. No,
that's such a fucking pub strat.
It's such a pub strat, but you actually have to do that in some games. And I highly recommend doing that in some cases.
Dude, I've had people do that to me, and it's good. It always makes me think like, oh fuck, I should have dust.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's good.
I do that shit all the fucking time as a position of support.
It's good. I can confirm as like an idiot that doesn't buy dust that like when people do that, it makes me think like, fuck, this guy's way better than me at Dota. I need to start. It's like it embarrasses me that I needed to have somebody put it in my inventory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want this to happen again because I'm fucking embarrassed. So I should go.
But yeah. All right. So that's probably good for this replay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know much else to say.
See ya, Eddie.
Yeah, see you later, dude.
Take it easy, man.
How are we doing on the timer, by the way? Are we just going massively over all the time?
Yeah, a little bit. I keep forgetting to do the timer.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Put that shit on.
Okay. I'm gonna do this timer. All right, Justin Ash. We'll get him in here too. Justin Ash. He's got the anime titties. This picture. I try to play CM since so long. Never learned how to play CM. Laning wise, I'm good. I listened to what my carry wanted from the lane. Just want to know how to play the mid to late game. What talent tree to go for at item builds. Hello, Justin.
Yo, what's up? How's it going, guys?
Nothing
Good.
much,
How are
man.
you, man?
Fine. Just woke up so early in the morning.
How's the rooster doing? You eat that thing for dinner yet?
I think you got the wrong person.
Do I?
Yeah, that guy is from like the Philippines. I'm from Malaysia, bro.
Oh shit! Whoops! Whoops! Dude, you guys have this. Okay, this is. I'm dodging this. All right. Okay. So what's up?
You're
How's it
digging
going?
yourself a hole there, dude.
I'm digging a grave.
Not all Asians look the same, man.
Oh, that's not what I'm saying. You have a similar voice. Your voice is similar. I can't get voice mixed up. We do this with so many people. Fuck's sakes.
I don't know. Like, how do you have like this kind of thinking that all Asians have the same voice?
Yeah,
Oh
come
my
on, man.
God.
Come on, man.
Oh my god.
As somebody with a half Filipino girlfriend who has a full Filipino mom, they look very different. They're all very individual people. Okay, Jenkins.
Where did looks come into it? I'm just saying you guys have a similar voice. Your voice is like. All right, I'm not trying to. I have a bit of a nasally voice too. Okay, we're guys with a nasally voice. I'm not gonna lie to you here. We both have a kind of nasally voice.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, like different countries have like different accent when it comes to like when you speak English. Like in my country, we tend to speak a little more like UK-ish kind of English rather than like US type of English. I don't know, like if you have been to Singapore, like we have like the same accent when we talk in English.
As Singaporeans,
Yeah, yeah,
Huh.
like literally we have the same culture. We
here's a
have the same
question.
accent.
Here's a question for you. Could you tell a Canadian and an American apart?
No.
There you go. There you go. I'm not fucking racist. There you go. All right, let's get into the replay.
All right.
We're done with this shit.
Yeah. So we just skipped to 19 minutes because you mainly wanted to ask about the mid game, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we've done a bunch of your laning stage replays. We've kind of hammered out all of those things. I feel like your laning stage is probably getting a lot better.
Like okay, for Krista Maiden, I haven't played her for so long. Like this is like the first time since like patch 7.21 I tried to play her again. So try to be a little more like versatile and stuff. And item wise, if you see like my itemization is kind of like a crazy person would do, because I saw like the draw ranger go for an E-blade. I was like, let's teach her a lesson. Let's build an E-blade for ourselves. So yeah, like basically like I just want to know like how do I face mid game to late game as a CM in terms of itemization, in terms of how do I like move around the map, and also like what talent tree do I go,
Sure.
like which talent tree is optimized for me in terms of team fight. Do I go for the 150 gold, or do I go for the mana reduce? I think the talent for
I think you go like you go 150 gold per minute every single game. Like it's way too much.
Yep.
Like this basically makes it so that you can scale to be a core. Let's see the level 10 talent. I'm pretty sure people go the HP. They go the HP right now.
I kind of like the cast range this game though. Like
I personally think the cast range is like a low skill thing to do. Like I think that's like what people originally thought would be good on CM, but you don't actually need the cast range. Like you should be positioning better. Like I see it as like a crutch when you could have 250 HP, and if you buy a bracer, like you're actually really tanky.
Yeah.
And you put yourself above the threshold of HP where people can't burst you, and that lets you do so much more in team fights than some shitty fucking 100 cast range, which it baits people into getting it because you're like, oh, CM with HP, that's bad. Guess what? People were saying that about Nature's Prophet, that he's squishy. I played with BSJ the other day on stream, and he's a terrible Nature's Prophet because he doesn't play Offlane. And he honestly plays auto chess all the time, so he doesn't realize. And he was saying, this hero is so bad. Why is he so squishy? Because you're fucking playing it wrong. He was going for like Orchid and all of these items. The way people play Nature's Prophet now is you run in, fucking hit me. Let's go. You know, people use every spell on you. He doesn't die because he's a 10 armor talent. He farms incredibly quickly, so he gets a Vlad's. He gets Pipe. Guess what? CM does the exact same thing with her W. She farms incredibly fast. So if you get like 2 bracers and the 250 health talent, you're actually a tank. You're legit a tank.
Yeah, like, no, that's actually a good point. I was thinking about it wrong. I was thinking they have a lot of jump and a lot of bursts, so you get bursted a lot, so being out of range is good, but actually, if you have the bracer plus the 250 HP, then you want them to try and burst you because you end up wasting a lot of their resources in your cores. Just
exactly. You're using your HP as a resource.
Oh my god, it's just another one of those things where you're thinking about your game more than you're thinking about how you fit into the entire team.
I'm more and more hating the idea of like, oh, just position well and you don't need HP. Like that is true if you're not thinking about using your HP as a resource in fights. Like you should be running in and getting people to use spells on you. Like this shit's good. If you can get all your spells off and you run in and die, or you get stunned until you can get your glimmer off, like one single fight can win you the game. If you have bracer plus the health talent, you have like 2,000 HP right now. It's actually insane. That's what I would say with this hero that has changed. And then people go the GPM. Like people started going for the mana loss thing. But I would also say that's like another low skill bait sort of thing, where it's like it looks cool and it looks good, and you're like, oh, CM plus Storm Spirit, etc. And it's like, no, GPM is just fucking busted. Like that is way too much GPM for a level 15 talent.
Yeah,
in my opinion,
it's just so much free gold. As far as you'd asked about what you should be doing, what your position should be, I think so far I've seen nothing but good stuff. Like I think that you're playing around your team quite a bit. You're providing vision. You are basically just kind of hanging out with them, which is pretty much what you should be doing. Like your Sven's going to be pushing waves. I think this game is a little bit unfortunate because you don't have the best wave clear for your team. So this is probably one of those games where I'd start feeling a little like urgent to get the waves pushed out because they've just been on your side of the map all the time. And I might even go for something like a meteor hammer just to do that.
Oh my god, you and your fucking meteor hammers.
Dude, it's like it's just pub strats, man.
Like, is meteor hammer like necessary for like, pushing lanes?
It's the best lane pushing item in the game, outside of Battle Fury.
I would say using your Q is enough to push lanes. Like the way I see you playing this game on CM is like you're jungling and getting farm and trying to get levels, but you're doing it like near your team, and like standing in trees and shit like this is good. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah,
and then
that's fair enough. You could just Q the wave and then frostbite one of the creeps, and then you've done enough damage to them.
I wouldn't even frostbite the creeps. I just stand in the jungle and farm with the frostbite and just Q the wave, and just get the XP as the creeps die from jungle.
Yeah.
Okay, what happened there? So you TP'd back. What I would actually do, go back. So this is something that you see a lot of like Immortal players do. Go back even more. It's
right.
like
camping.
Yeah, so you're in position bot, right? And
yeah.
and your team is like, okay, like 2 lanes are pushing in. We don't, for whatever reason, like we don't want to push this. So you go back and you do like garbage cleanup in the lanes. I don't see any reason that you have to leave this location here because your team is split up, right? And the enemy team is like clearly rotating to this area. So there is a very small chance, like what the Earth Spirit did there is good. And I think what you want to do is you sit in the trees here, nuke the next wave. Yeah, like nuke the next wave. Maybe even like run to the jungle over to those 2 camps over there and jungle those. Because like if you can take farm from the enemy team, because you're just a CM. Like if they kill you, it gives a fuck. You know what I mean? Doesn't matter. So this guy's dying, which kind of sucks. But yeah, so if you're like over there dying alone, it's fine. But you could like while this is happening, you could actually pressure the tower with the creep wave if you stayed there. Because now you're just kind of going mid. But look at the Wind Ranger. The Wind Ranger is doing the exact thing that you're doing, except she's a core. So you just have to leave and give her the farm, which is what you do because you're a good support. And so she's just pushing that out, right? Like so she doesn't need your help to do that. You could actually have been bought like accomplishing other stuff. And I think as supports, that is a lot of the time what you want to do is like when your team moves out of an area, just stay there and see what happens. Just stay there and be like, okay, maybe I'll TP out eventually, but if the enemy team looks through the trees and kills you, it's like, well, they're fucking idiots for wasting time like looking for some support CM through the trees. That's fine, you're making space. But generally they won't. So they'll just think that you got out of there, and then you can actually get a little bit of more pressure on the map from doing that. I do that on Nature's all the time. I never sit in Fountain on Nature's Prophet. What I do is I sit in the enemy base, and I'll cut the wave literally as they spawn. And by the time they realize I'm there, I'm already TP'd out because I was waiting in their base for so long that my TP is off cooldown again.
Yeah, there's actually
nothing's happening. That's the thing, is nothing's happening, and you want to spend that nothingness in a location that will let you like, okay, before I leave, I'm going to nuke the next wave sort of thing. And it matters because it means that this lane might be pressured and you go take Roche, somebody responds to it, you win a fight at Roche, something like that.
And there's actually nothing more annoying for the enemy team than to come down here. Like they all walked from mid down here to gank your team that was pushing here. Your team all TP'd out. So they've walked all the way from mid to bottom, and then they're like, oh, God, there's nobody here. Okay. So now they're going to go back to the position that they were at. And then all of a sudden, you're just fucking bottom again, nuking the wave.
And then they go back.
And they're like, oh my God, the CM is still here.
Yes. And I would say like 99% of the time in competitive, if you're playing against like a good support, like you'll go to kill them in a lane, you won't find them, you leave, and then they'll be there still.
Yeah.
Like they'll just be like cutting through trees and shit and like glimmering through waves so they can like walk to some place to hide.
Yep.
And just being like obnoxious as shit. It's super game winning. Because like of what Donnie said, It's basically like a snowball effect.
It's just so annoying to deal with too.
Yes, people will lose their minds trying to deal with you, and in that time, like your team is getting a lot of farm.
Yep.
Bounty runes are spawning. You guys want to go fight the bounties, not this tower. You tell your clock, hey, get the bot bounties, and you go get the bounties. Although you're winning a fight, which is cool. The enemy team's like not thinking about bounties for some reason.
Yeah, because my friend who plays Savannah, he said like, come, let's go for a team fight, and he basically just like, oh, okay, you want team fight? Yeah, sure, let's have a team fight.
Yeah, you should say to
we like,
you
yeah,
wipe
we
them.
managed to get a team wipe.
Yeah, that's good. I would say like if your core is telling you something, then yeah, you should probably listen because he's like the strong guy at this point.
Yep.
But with that being said, I would definitely be like, if this is some friend of mine like telling me that, I'd be like, hey man, can't we just fight the bounties? Whenever bounties are coming, those are the objectives. Like the thing with objectives is a lot of the time, the great thing about them is that they force the enemy team to fight you. Like I said in the previous replay analysis, like Secret will get people to, they'll just have Nisha go in and hit the Roche just to take a fight. Same thing comes from like pressuring tier 1s or getting bounties. It's just when bounties are spawning, those are objectives that go away like as soon as you get them. So they are just the priority. Towers will always be there for you to get. So you should head over and do the exact same thing at the bounty runes, I think. And that's something like you can make that call. All it takes is one person to make the call where it's like 30 seconds before. I swear to God, if you start 30 seconds before the bounty rune spawn, you say, hey guys, bounties are spawning. Like, which bounties are we going to fight? And fight every bounty rune. You will win so many games.
Yep.
Because I know somebody who does that is RoboVice, like PPD's brother, as people know him. He's like a notorious like techie spammer. Every game I get with him, he's like, bounties in 30, bounties in 30, bounties in 30, bounties in 30. And in all of those games, his team is always getting like all the bounties just because he's being the one that's reminding them. And I think it's really good. And I want to take that even farther in my games and do what Secret does, which is bounties are spawning. Let's fight the aggressive bounties. Let's take one of the aggressive bounties and use it to fight as well. I think that shit's super broken.
Yep. Okay, so as far as itemization, BKB, right?
Four staff is really good. They have
BKB.
They have Drow who just pokes one person. They have Sand King who stuns one guy. They have Beastmaster who roars one guy. They have Lion who hexes and disables one guy. There basically couldn't be a better four staff game than this.
Yeah.
Like, unless like the SF was Pudge or something like that. Some like single target focusing guy.
Yeah, Force is super good. E-Blade doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's good against the Drow, but it's actually terrible against everybody else, pretty much.
Yeah, because the reason that I'm doing E-Blade, because I saw like DR doing E-Blade, and I was like, let's teach her a lesson, like not to buy E-Blades. It's kind of like annoyed Savan, because like
it's actually really bad for your Sven.
Yeah, it's
a pretty
really bad.
And Windranger as well.
Yeah, both of them are.
It's a terrible E-Blade game.
Let's just call it like it is.
Yeah, it's not a good E-Blade game. Like four staff, Glimmer is good. I like the Glimmer.
Yep.
Bracer, Pipe is pretty good. Although I would say at this point in the game, Sand King's not a concern. His damage is not a concern. It's physical damage.
Yep. How'd you guys lose Rax?
I mean, I would honestly say the fact that you have an E-Blade is incredibly game losing because it's 3,800 gold. Like it's just spent doing nothing.
Yeah.
That could be four staff and a Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
Or four staff and a Vlad's. Like it could be two other items.
It actually might very well be your fault that you lost this game.
Yes, I agree.
Because your Sven has good items. Your Wind Ranger has pretty good items.
Actually, we won this game.
Oh, you won this game? Well, your team won in spite of you, so they should all have reported you and put you on their block list.
Yeah, agreed. Oh my god, 5,000 gold.
Yeah.
So much gold to be sitting on. Oh!
Alright, get the fuck out of here, dude. We're done with this replay.
That's GG.
All right, man.
See ya.
Yeah, thanks for the replay.
Tell the rooster I said hello.
I do have a rooster, but yeah, it's already around.
I knew it, dude. I was right.
Yeah, I do have a rooster, but the one that you're referring is a different person.
I don't think more than one person has a rooster. You know, I've only met one person in my life that has a rooster.
That's you.
It's you. You've got a nice cock. I like your cock.
Oh my god.
What? That's what a rooster is.
That's what
It's
you
great.
get for staying in this call after we told you to get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, exactly.
As usual, thank you for the replay review. I'll make sure to submit a new replay with a new hero that I haven't played in ages yet.
Do it.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, man.
So yeah, thank you and have a nice day. Like for me, you guys alright? Night, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's late.
So what, like 11 p.m. already?
Your cock's nice.
11:30. Get out of here with your big cock.
So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank
See
you.
ya. All right, how many more replays we got?
We got Mark maybe standing by. I think I put that one in there already. And then Hockulionaire, of course. And then we're done.
Dope. Dope.
Prime Operator. This is one long replay review session. You're not wrong. All right, are we going to get the Rooster guy in here? Is he coming back? I think he was a new patron. I don't remember what his name was.
Yeah.
That was so hectic though, with like doing it with like the rooster in the background. Holy shit, that was insane.
Pretty funny.
All right, let me see. Mark.
Actually,
Mark.
I think my favorite one was the dude who called in while he was at work and he was like whispering.
Oh
into
yeah,
his phone. He was like whispering
was
into his
funny.
phone.
Who was that? Who was that?
I don't remember.
He was a software engineer, right?
Yeah, it's Australian dude, I think.
Hello.
What up?
Hello, Marky.
Hello. Good evening.
The Zuck.
The Zuck.
How's it? How you feeling? You fitting in with the humans today?
Good. Yeah, I had a bolt fall out earlier in front of some people. It was pretty embarrassing.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate when like my lizard skin peels off.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, what my interns don't realize is I don't have eyelids, so I have to lick my eyes to keep them clean. So it's a struggle, man. It's hard.
That's all about timing, just like Dota. You gotta like find.
It's all about the timing.
The right moment to lick your eyeballs.
Right. It's like if you don't, you go to the bathroom, get a coffee, like you know, all of these things.
All right.
All right.
Gotta make sure you take off your glasses before you lick your eyeballs. Otherwise, you just like lick your glasses instead.
Hey, I'm all down for hard modes. All right. All right.
Zuck is just living life on hard mode.
Is this replay ID correct? It is
I sent one. Shit. The previous one had a wrong number in it, and I sent one correctly.
No, that's my B, boys. That's my B.
Jenkins, you're wasting everybody's time.
583. Oh, by the way, you can copy and paste out of the Dota client. I know it doesn't look like it at all, but they added that in as a feature because like Purge was complaining about it or something.
"Quote unquote" feature.
Yes. One of the few actual features in Dota that they added.
This is.
I think.
I know nothing.
I was the guy who was talking about Meepo not too long ago. So I play these shitty cheese heroes. You know.
I love cheese, man. That's all Dota's about right now, I think, is like cheesing. So
I need to get this fucking loading screen out of here. I do not.
I agree. That is
not like that.
Legitimately disturbing. That actually.
Who the fuck is that?
Invoker, dude.
Dude, that's Invoker's gay cousin. What are you talking about?
It's like Invoker's like gay uncle or something because he looks way older.
It's in Bloker, not Invoker. He's a fucking bloke. Don't laugh at that. That was a bad joke.
All right. Well, okay. I mean, I was just trying. I didn't want to be that guy, but.
So this game, in the pre-game or in the lobby preparing stage, I was saying we need to end this game early, because I just think we lose. Yeah, I think we just lose after 35, and we just didn't win fast enough, and so I want to know what to do.
You could the thing with that. I'm guessing your PA went Battle Fury.
Ah, shit, I can't remember.
But like the thing is, you can still have people build farming items. Yes, he went Battle Fury. So you can still have people build farming items and like win the game with like an early timing. That's fine. It's just like I guess the spike really like it's like the Battle Fury is to farm to get items, and then you still push early before the Spectre is huge. I guess the only problem is like the Spectre's Radiance would come after the PA has a Deso, something like that. But it is actually fine to build some farming items. Like even Midas isn't shit if it lets you hit that timing harder. I guess that's only like a note that I want to make about the because I figured that guy would go Battle Fury. It's actually not that bad. I've seen like Voids do that against.
It's
these,
totally
like insane.
It's actually better in my opinion. You'll see like basically almost all pro players like Nisha will build a Battle Fury in this game because it secures them the late game as well, or at least like some form of late game. Well,
and the mid to late game where PA will be stronger than Spectre, and then it goes late game and PA is still strong, but Spectre's a beast.
Yeah.
So one thing that's coming up here is I have this ward in my inventory, and I never know really the right time that I should place the ward in the mid lane.
Before the lane.
Before the game starts.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Not wait for nighttime?
No. What people do is they'll place it like on their side of the river so people don't see it.
Yep.
Because all you want is high ground vision. Like that's all you really care about. So that way when the creep wave is like in the middle, you can still keep hitting him.
Yep.
And like, stealing his attack speed and shit like that. It's just all about seeing the guy that you're
even just fucking
letting...
pulling the creeps, which you can't do otherwise.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, technically you do it by looking at other lanes and right-clicking them, but that's super fucking tedious.
Yeah,
super tedious. So I would probably look to send out. I mean, I'm not a huge Visage player, but I would definitely look to send out like maybe one Wraith Band early, just so that, or like a Blightstone, just so that way you can.
I think I get a null.
Null
or null, yeah.
Wraith Band.
Oh yeah, sorry, Wraith Band. I'm an idiot. I was thinking about like Aquila, but obviously that doesn't exist anymore. And this is an interior. Yeah, one null is good.
Yeah.
Sending out like as early as possible. We talked about this in, like one of the earlier replays, where the whole concept of like nulls and bracers is just that they're like extremely cost efficient, but they're fucking terrible because they don't build into anything. So the earlier you can get those, the more time you're spending with that like efficient, that efficient, stats.
Yeah.
Being actually useful. Like they're good for the laning stage, and that's kind of it. So the earlier you can get that, like a lot of the time you'll see Sumails and shit, they'll send out like literally a null recipe with their salve and just have the full null. So that way they can just use that extra, like, what is it, 6 or 7 damage, 9 damage, some shit like that, to just devastate people with the right click damage. Like that's why people rush 2 nulls before boots on a lot of heroes. It's just so you can like bully the fuck out of this guy. Also, you need regen really badly. Oh, you're idiots. Use the courier. That's
I couldn't get anything this game. I really couldn't.
So what you want to do as a mid player, send it fucking back. Like don't let them take it.
Yeah.
Like do you suggest doing that? Just taking it from them?
Yes.
100%.
I try not. Okay.
Yes, you take it from your team because what you're doing right now is super bad. And it's because your team is idiots, but also like you are a mid player, so you understand your role better than them, and it's kind of expected that they be idiots when it comes to understanding how the mid lane works, because it's like your job as a mid laner.
Yep.
So you definitely want to like take the courier. You'd be like, no, you're not using courier. When they can use courier is the 3-minute mark because it turns to a flying courier. Like basically any time before that, you should send the courier back and just use it for your items. And if it's 3 minutes, then you can let them use the courier because it's way faster and it doesn't take that long for the courier. And then it walks over terrain, obviously. Yeah. So it doesn't like fuck you over so much for them to take it.
Unless you absolutely need regen like you did there, in which case you should send it back. Like it's really, really important that you're not forced to the lane.
But it's important that you send it back when it's in base. Like sending it back when it's halfway to the bot lane is also super game losing.
Yeah.
So
okay, fair. Yeah.
It's like you wanna like as soon as it leaves fountain, you say, No, I'm mid laner. You fuck off. Like I've had so many mid laners do that in my games, and it's like it's always fine when they say that because all good players will ask like, "Hey, mid laner, can I use the courier?" But then bad players will just take it, and mid laners will say no, like big no.
Yeah,
my courier.
How do you feel about the win lace, by the way?
I build into tranquils on Visage. I don't know. That's just people tell me not. Like a lot of guides tell you not to. To me, it just feels so much better every game. So I don't know.
The reason people don't build into tranquils on Visage is because like running faster than the birds is not really all that necessary. Like you just run around with the birds anyway, right? So you're like limited by their movement speed, and they're pretty slow. So
they're much faster than you.
Yeah, they're faster than you, but being faster
boots,
than them is not that important.
Boots plus windlace is like often enough, I think.
Okay.
And also, like, if you have a Dom creep, which I think is a really good item to go on Visage for like early pushing, you don't really need, like, you're limited by all of your shit moving together, and definitely having Tranquils is not that necessary. And with this hero, I think like the early timing really matters a lot. I've even seen people go no boots into just straight Dom rush.
I was just going to say, I don't think that you should go boots this game. I don't think you should go boots, and I don't think that you should go for the infused raindrop or the windlace. I think you should just buy a ring of health, because that's going to allow you to actually sustain against the Tinker, and then turn into a Helm of Dominator so you can hit that early timing.
I think because you're against a Tinker, you need the raindrop.
Yeah.
I think that's...
Yeah,
I was maxing Grave Cloak this game with no points in Soul Assumption.
That's fine.
Tinker.
You should still have a ring of health as quickly as possible.
I would say like the reason this hero exists is like basically he has this like ridiculous early push timing. It's like similar to Enigma when he rushes the Dominator. I forgot to set the timer, by the way, but it doesn't matter. And it's like Enigma as well, where you get the Dominator so quickly that nobody can really deal with your tower pushes. All you need to do is you get a Dom and you run up to the top lane, you take that tower, and then you run to the mid lane with like your offlaner, and then you take that tower. And then you run to the bot lane, you take that tower, and then all of a sudden, like, you have this huge amount of map control that Spectre and Tinker cannot both simultaneously farm. And then you just win the game because one of them puts himself out of position because they don't have enough space to farm, and you keep killing that person over and over again. Because if you let this game go like even up until 15 minutes, you have no chance at winning. No chance against Tinker Spectre. Like, you'll never push their base. You will never be able to fight them because Spectre is ridiculous, and honestly, Spectre with Tinker provides like a shitload of vision for the Rockets. Like, this is an unwinnable game if you go late, like legitimately unwinnable.
Yeah, I agree. They have a bounty hunter. This game is
BH Tinker. Oof.
Yeah.
So you would say it was a mistake because this game I wanted to go really aggressive, and I went Medallion into Pipe because of all the magic damage too. So I didn't even build Dominator, so you'd say that's a big mistake.
I'd say Dominator Pipe is the way to go this game.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Pipe. I do like Medallion too as an item, but
I always rush Medallion because it gives me.
I think if you're ever just trying to like do an early push strat against any team on honestly any hero, you just go Dom.
Yep.
Like it's so good. Actually, Newsham was talking to me about this the other day. He was saying that a lot of people try to counter magic damage early with an early Pipe, but the thing is, like, Pipe is percentage scaling the magic resist that it gives you, and also generally early on into the game, the cloak, the actual like Pipe effect that you get, it's too much for the magic damage that people put out. Like, often a Dominator with the aura, the HP regen aura, is actually enough to heal people through the magic damage, and then also you get the pushing effect of having the creep available to you. So it's like Dominator is essentially like a poor man's early game Pipe. It does the exact same thing as Pipe, but then Pipe scales to be better. So going for a Dominator early is actually a good counter to magic damage, just because regen is a good counter to magic damage. As long as your heroes can't get bursted, then a Dom is really good. And then eventually you want the Pipe. And if you have Pipe Dom, it's like that's a really solid timing where you can actually just push so many waves.
Yep.
Against Tinker, timings really matter because like there hits a point where he gets bots. All of a sudden, tier 1s are 6 times harder to take. Then there hits a point where he gets Blink, 6 times harder to take. There hits a point where he gets like an Ether Lens. You lose. You do not win unless you have a Tinker counter.
Should I be trying to push this lane right here?
You should tell your team to come to you, I think.
You should tell your team to come to you, or you walk to top. Like Enchantress, well, okay, let's see. What hero's top? Sand King. Yeah, actually, you could go to either of the side lanes. Both your side lanes are dumpstering. So I think your play is to run to the side lanes. Like, in fact, the mid lane right now is not a static sit in lane type of role. People are constantly moving to the side lanes and fighting bounties and taking runes and ganking and shit. This, like, sitting in the mid lane for 10 minutes is the old way to play mid lane.
Yeah.
This is like the one major qualifier ago, like when Gunner was on Team
That's the last time I played.
Yeah, that's what do you mean? It's the last time you played? Like that's when you started.
I took about a 3-month break.
Oh,
I didn't play from December until basically March.
Okay, got you. Okay, so that makes sense that you're essentially playing this sort of style. Like, basically, the moment you get the moment you get strong on your hero, you want to run and just start fighting. And like the lanes break open really early. And if you can be the one that's actually breaking the lanes by saying fuck mid, I'm just gonna go top, you're going to win. You're gonna win Dota more. Like this, what you're doing here is good, but you can do this 5 minutes earlier, I think.
Yeah, and you can
before
see
the Tinker has.
I do want to point out that this also forces the Tinker to leave the mid lane where he's just been camping and shoving out the waves. So like it gives your creeps a chance to actually do damage to the tower as well. So moving around is kind of a way to counter the Tinker just sitting there statically pushing out the waves.
This guy doesn't even have March. He's actually still pressurable, I think.
Yeah.
The problem is like Sand King running in and feeding, and also Spectre has Haunt and Tinker has levels, and once again, like Dota is all about the timings. Like if you have a Dominator early on because you didn't go for like the smaller items, actually you probably wouldn't. Well, you might have a Dominator by now if you like completely hard rushed it. You can take a shitload of towers before the Tinker can even TP in. Like he TPs in and he dies. Spectre can't Haunt. The other heroes aren't strong. Like there's certain heroes where you just get stronger than other heroes earlier on, and people are abusing that now. Like people are picking Ember Spirit on the mid lane, not because he wins matchups. He actually fucking loses against like every hero. It's just because as soon as he gets level 6, you're like the strongest ganker in the game. So people are just picking Ember, losing with it, and then as soon as you get 6, you just run to a lane and kill somebody and take a tower. Run to a lane, kill somebody, take a tower. And I think Visage can work exactly the same.
Yeah.
You're doing it now, which is good.
But you need your team to be with you. That's kind of the problem. Is like you're just perpetual. You're always alone, and your hero is definitely strong.
I think this is actually okay, just because it's hit a point where the Tinker, like the enemy team, is actually strong enough to defend you.
Yeah.
Like your timing is over. You're not, but you can still like do the split pushing shit. I think this is fine because you saw that they all TP'd mid, so you're just taking like a free tower.
Yeah. I wasn't talking about this specific moment, but just like when you want to hit your timing, you want to hit your timing with your team. You don't want to just be
exactly.
alone.
It's like that's why generally a good rule of thumb in pubs is to just assume your team is like absolute morons and just run to them.
Yeah,
because they're not gonna run to you.
Yeah.
So if your team is with you and like they go on you like this, you just wipe them.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a question from earlier. So in lane, should I have the ring activated or no?
It depends. Just depends if you want to push or not.
Yeah.
I would say like on the mid lane, having it activated is perfectly fine, because if you have it activated, you push out the lane and then you can go gank. So like if you activate it around like the before the 2 minute mark, you can push the lane out and go get a rune. If you activate it for the 5 minute mark, you can push the lane out and go bounties. So it just depends on what you want to do.
So that probably wasn't worth it, right? The
No.
lion for the yeah.
No. I would say like still I agree with what Donnie said. Like with the top tower, the reason it made sense is because the whole enemy team TP mid, so you took advantage of that, which is like what a good player should do. But then there hits a point where like they're no longer mid. They can very easily be top and killing you. You can't pressure the tier 2, but if you're with your team, then you can pressure and you can fight.
Yeah.
So going to your team here is correct.
Yes. This is what you should be doing. Like you should look to take a tower, regroup up with your team, and a lot of the time it just involves kind of like following around your other cores. Like
yeah, you guys got to focus Tinker. That was a good burrow and focusing him. Yeah, this is good. I actually think this is good, despite Warlock and.
So there was like 5 different targets to go on here. Can we? What was the right play? Like which target was the right one to go on? Because I switched like 3 different times.
I liked that sequence actually. I thought that was fine.
Yes, I thought that was good too. You go for like the squishy support, and then you see Tinker's out of position and killing your PA. So you kill him because like he shouldn't be allowed to be aggressive, and then PA is getting gone on. So you go on the Mirana to prevent your PA from getting killed. That's
exactly
correct.
That move is really good because instead of running over and trying to stun the Mirana to stop her, you force her away by doing more damage than she can do. Basically,
yeah, you say like, "Hey, get the fuck away from my PA." I'm gonna kill you. So she might get away. I don't care. Like it doesn't matter if she dies or not. You protected your PA. That's correct. That's definitely the correct.
Yep. I thought that sequence was good. And then I think that probably just hitting the tower is the way to go.
Yeah, definitely.
Backing up.
PA made the mistake of like running away from you guys. That's the problem. But you can't like run over and save her. Oh, nice stuns. Oh, now it doesn't. Oh, they changed that where like the bird stun doesn't go off if the visage bird dies anymore. But this is good. This is all like really good. This is a good fight. You guys just have to get out now because you have no spells.
Yep.
That's the problem.
You're probably dead.
It's fine. This shit happens. Like,
Yeah, but also their whole team is bottom, and your PA is top farming, and there's going to be nobody to contest him because everybody TP'd bottom. So that's actually okay at the end of the day.
That's why this is correct. Like this is. If you guys are like mechanically making mistakes, sort of like I saw the Enchantress die at the start. Sand King, like when you gank top, Sand King ran in like a fucking moron and killed himself.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. Like as long as your hero's in the right position on the map, you're like playing good Dota, and like the mechanical stuff.
They're wasting so much time on this.
I had a lot of fun here.
Oh my god.
They still tried too for another like 10 seconds.
It's like awful. So awful.
That's so much wasted time.
So
okay, right here is a really important decision, I think.
Okay.
Just because you've taken the top tower, you've taken the mid tower, and you just died and you're respawning. So now is a time for you to to ask yourself the question, where is the most annoying place for me to be right now? And I don't think it's mid lane. What do you think, Jenkins?
Starts reading chat. What'd you say?
I think that this is a really important moment because he's dead. He has like the time to survey the scene. He's been fucking with them with this bird instead of looking at the map, which is fine. But now that he respawns, he needs to figure out where to go. And I don't think that going mid by yourself.
I had no idea where to go.
Exactly. So you need to figure out.
You don't want to use a TP. Like you don't have birds up, so TPing anywhere is just worthless.
Yeah.
So walk.
Just the immediate TP to the mid lane with. No,
I think that's an impulse. That looks like an impulse TP.
Yes.
Oh, 100%.
Like you TP to the mid lane and then you walk back.
Yeah.
To go farm the triangle, which you could have walked to like just as quickly almost.
Yeah. And to be honest, out of anywhere, you should have been going bottom. I think, like, potentially to either take the tower, or if you decided, oh well, we can't actually fight bottom because everybody just showed bottom, then maybe you just walk here and wait to see.
This hero wants to like fight if you can fight and split push if you can split push. That's it.
Yeah.
So you definitely like run towards. PA should be taking this triangle on her own. This is like her catch up time, and you're kind of taking like ancients from her.
Yeah, this is really bad, actually.
The triangle should almost always be reserved for like your position 1, and everybody else's job is to like make space elsewhere. So your position 1 can just like hit the triangle for 15 minutes and then win the game because they have 2 million gold because the triangle's broken.
Yep. But yeah, so I think it's it's kind of at that point in the game where basically you just want to be looking to run to your team all the time. You want your 4 heroes to just be together, like trying to pressure a lane all the time. Then that's how you win the game because you're forcing the entire enemy team to show up to these fights, and then your PA is just free farming. That's how you win. Because then your PA is able to hit the timing at like 25-30 minutes before the Spectre's super online. PA jumps on Tinker, 2-shots it, and then you just win the game because they have no Tinker. So I think that doing this kind of stuff where like you farm the jungle, then you're solo pushing while your team is all grouped bottom. Like they're waiting for one more person to come here so you can push this tower. Your team is waiting for you to be there and you're not there. And that's actually going to make it really, really hard to do it.
I think for how you play this, like Dom is definitely the first item choice. Like you seem to be really focused on like running at towers, which is correct. And I believe that's like the best way to play Visage. Yeah. But you seem to be like focusing on like killing people with the medallion and then like keeping yourself alive with the what's it called? Cloak shit. The pipe, yeah. But like the Dom, I'm like losing my mind because I've been doing this for so long. But yeah. the Dom like helps you secure the objectives, which is like the whole purpose of Visage in the early game. Like that's a ridiculous timing on this hero.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, right there, like this chase right here is the entire thing about this replay is that you're focusing on kills instead of objectives with one of the best objective taking heroes in the entire game, and that's the main problem.
Good point.
Okay, so any other questions about this?
No, I think that's pretty good.
Awesome.
Cool.
Blast. So in general, so what heroes would you suggest playing to work on these issues?
Visage
is still a good one.
Enigma, like any Nature's Prophet, like any early game pushing hero that has like a super strong early game timing.
Again, I
Like,
don't think it's a hero pick issue. I think it's just a decision making issue. That's the main.
Yeah,
thing.
it's not. It's just like if you want other heroes that fit that archetype, it's any of these like early game push heroes. The thing is, it's not like a Visage specific thing. It's like there's a lot of heroes that do this right now, and it's a really strong play style.
Yeah.
It's like why Enigma's first pick, first ban in every single game.
If you like playing core, pick Lycan. Lycan follows.
Oh yeah, core definitely.
Oh, Lycan, yeah, Lycan's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lycan is really good at that too. Once again, he rushes Dom as well. Like you literally go Dom before boots because like you just want to be like, hey, I'm running at your tower with a creep when you're all level 4 and can't kill it. So I get 2 free towers, and all of a sudden, like, yeah, a game of Dota with 2 free towers is so fucking easy. Like so easy. You don't even need to play. You can just like masturbate on your keyboard and it'll like win Dota for you. It actually is. It's like the game's totally different when people don't have tier 1s to defend themselves.
Yeah.
People are just TPing around, feeding everywhere, and you have 3 jungles instead of 2. And you just have like 3 cores farmed instead of 2. It's like it's ridiculous.
What's the hierarchy on the creeps as the last thing? Like what creep do I want first, second, and third?
I would say probably like a centaur creep is like the best creep.
Ganking with the centaur, pushing with
the purple one, the big one.
No, that's the satyr. That's
the blue.
The blue.
Oh, the centaur. Sorry, centaur. Okay, yeah.
You want satyr?
You want the
satyr's
stunner?
okay against like heroes that have like damage over time. Like Satyr's actually pretty decent against Tinker because he marches the wave and it'll like keep the wave alive.
Yep.
But yeah, Centaur is like by far the best, I would say, because you literally just run bird stun, Centaur stun, and then they're dead.
Yeah. And then
same with Lycan. It's like you run at somebody, they TP wakes, they're like, aha, you're a Lycan, and then you just stomp them.
Yep. And
Centaur stomp is way too good. Centaur needs to get nerfed actually.
Yeah, so you want to run in, you want to stomp with Centaur when you're ganking. Then when you're trying to push towers, you want a catapult, and then after that, you probably want an alpha wolf. Like that.
Yeah, catapult's a little greedy just because like a lot of the time you need to take a fight before taking a tower. But if the enemy team is just if you can fight without a creep, or the enemy team is just letting you take their towers, a catapult like that shit hits like for 10% of the HP of the tower. So keeping a catapult is busted.
Yep.
All right.
All right, dude. Any other questions?
What do you? Just last one is, what's the frequency you suggest in? Because I want to do more replays. What's the frequency you suggest in me submitting them? Yeah.
It depends on how much Dota you play. If you're playing like 2 games a week, then I would probably play like, I don't know, 10 games in between replay reviews, something like that. That'd be my recommendation. I don't feel like doing a replay review. Like, if you played 1 game a week and you gave us a replay every week, I don't think it would be that useful, to be honest.
Right. Sounds great.
Yeah.
All right, thanks for calling in, man.
Yeah. All right, see you guys later.
See you next week, hopefully.
Take care.
All right, let's get fucking Hot Gillionaire out of the way, for fuck's sakes. God, this guy's such an asshole.
My dudes, he says.
What's up, my dudes? Hello.
Dudes.
Is your buddy with you this time? Are you guys still together?
We are, but he's gone out for coffees, chasing chicks. I don't know.
He's getting some ass instead of playing Dota like a real person.
Yeah. I got my priorities in order, eh?
Yeah, you do. Dude,
I literally had to say to him, I was like, sorry, man, I got replay review. Like,
dude, this is why you're gonna win TI 10 though. I swear to God, it's gonna happen. All right, one second. I gotta take a leak.
I'll
just do it right here if you guys don't mind.
Yeah. Whatever,
grab a bottle.
All right, support ABBA, huh?
Yeah. So this is new for me. I've never played ABBA, and man, oh man, I'm so happy that I'm playing him. I don't know if you remember, but like last time I was on with you guys, how do I bring up the? Is there screen share?
Is it not?
Oh
not
yeah,
showing.
Nah, there is. I always take forever to find it. Yeah. So last time I was on with you guys, I'd lost like, I don't know if you remember, I'd lost like 400, 500 MMR, and I was like tripping out and trying to like stay up all night to get it back and all this. But man, like I've just started playing support ABBA like first time. So I played like 15 games, and I'm on like a 80-something% win rate with him. And I've finally I can see my percentage again. I'm so stoked.
He's back.
Last night
That's
I saw my
good, that's good.
percentage, and I was like, because I was like, I so didn't think it was ever coming back. Like,
You're back, dude. You're back, man. I also had a binge loss recently.
Yeah?
Yeah, dude. I was down to like.
It was real bad.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
to 6,500 MMR, which is like the highest MMR that I've had in
Yeah.
just like half a year or something like that
Yeah,
since
yeah.
I started like playing seriously again. And then in one night, like it took me a month to get there, right, from 6K. And then in one night, I was down to 6,200 because I just fucking lost 15 in a row. I was so depressed.
That was me, 15 in a row. It's crazy.
Yeah. And finally, I'm back. I'm about 6,550 right now, and I feel so
Yeah.
good. I feel so good.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, if I didn't just binge queue and lose 15 in a row,
You'd be
I'd be
7K.
60. I'd be 6,800 or something like right now. I'd legit be like ranked 200, some shit like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And here I am,
I'll-
like
yeah.
exact same spot, and just so happy about it. So why can't I just not fucking binge queue?
Yeah.
I just lose
Yeah.
control.
Yeah, I know. That's
I
good.
was
Good for us.
I was playing Dota and I went to bed at like probably midnight or like one in the morning, and I saw Jenkins was queuing, and he had I think he had just lost a game. It was like the first loss of the 15 or something like that. And so I went to bed, and I got up in the morning, and I was like editing a video, and after editing for like an hour and a half, I like opened up Dota to play a game, and Jenkins was still online. I was like, he's never awake this early. Why is he still?
No, I was still awake.
I was like, why is he up so early? And then I clicked on his profile, and it was just a wall of red, just a giant wall of red, and I was like, oh. So I just sent him a sad face and moved on with my day.
Oh.
I was seriously fucking depressed now. I was losing it. It's so sad. It's so sad. You just wasted a whole night. Your sleeping schedule's fucked, and all for losses. It's like the weeks and weeks that you spent gaining that MMR are just gone down the fucking drain. It feels so bad.
I know. It's so funny. And I think what's been probably like in connection with what you're saying.
No, Hockey, why? Why are you using the walking courier at 1 minute and 18 seconds to send yourself a century ward? Why?
Oh, because in Legend, no one even uses the courier for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, but you just kill yourself?
Yeah, just kill yourself,
dude. You say Legend like that's like Legend's actually you're about to be ancient, right? Like that's the one before ancient, right?
Yeah.
That's not actually that bad.
Yeah,
dude, I swear to God, you're still traumatized from playing in such like shit bracket. And now that you're like actually pretty good, you're like, oh, my teammates are stupid.
Yeah.
Dude,
I definitely am. I'm definitely something's up. It's been good. I've come down to Sydney for this trip, and I haven't been able to play like much Dota. It's sort of like a bit of a holiday for me down here. But I think that's been the best thing. And now that I've like last night, like we played like a bunch of games, and like I said, I've just won all these games, and I finally got my percentage back. And I think the break was good.
Dude, the break.
It's usually pretty key.
Yes. Like actually wanting to play the game.
Yeah.
And just having your entire brain just like working when you're playing. It's pretty broken.
Wanting to play the game instead of wanting to get plus 25 is a very big difference.
Plus 25 of number.
Yeah. Of meaningless number.
Yes.
Classic. But man, this guy is so fun. He's pretty much like, I just feel he's like Oracle. Like he's just another Oracle. Like
he's
got his heal, he's got his purge, he's got like essentially a
better.
save, but only for himself. Like
I think you're right. I think he's like Oracle and him are pretty interchangeable. I think somebody even said it earlier. I think it was Eddie Mercury said that.
Right.
Something like.
And because obviously I play a lot of Oracle, it's probably why I just instantly felt comfortable with it.
Yeah, no, this hero, like you basically you do this miscoil bullshit in the laning stage. It's just like, okay, how good of a safe lane support are you? And then you just sit behind people and protect them, and you essentially just need to be in the right location. Speaking of which, be in the right location like before it happens, as opposed to
you could have been earlier.
Dead. Yeah.
I would actually say that you can probably leave your PA to solo this lane.
At this point, yeah.
really early on at the game, I would say like you probably want to get the bounties maybe. Like
Yeah, I think
know,
I missed them.
It's weird. It's actually kind of weird. Like if you look at competitive, one thing that you'll see is that like at a certain point, the supports will always leave the lane. Like they'll just go ward and get bounties and stuff. It just depends when it happens. Like I would say in this game, it's kind of a high level decision and a hard one to make because you would want to double back for the bounties eventually. But I think you can actually leave the PA before 5 minutes, which is not that common. That means you've supported well. That means like the enemy team has basically fucking given up on this lane, which they have.
Yeah, they did. He went off jungler.
Yeah, basically, you want to put the ward down and you want to move. And I think your entire purpose in this game, it's a core Skywrath, yeah? So your entire purpose in this game is from about minute 8 until about minute 20. You should just be mirroring where the Skywrath is and saving people from getting killed by him.
Because if he doesn't have a good early game, he's useless. I would leave a safe lane ward.
Yeah.
You definitely want a safe lane ward. That's decent. That's a decent ward. I would probably try to put it a little greedier and put it like on their
over near the tower.
Near the tower or on like the shrine, the ward spot, like the cliff spot there.
Yep. Yeah. Just a little bit more aggressive so the PA can see people rotate.
But I'm glad that you take the bounties and then fuck off. Like this is the correct move, and you place a ward too. Like you are indeed making the correct move. I think it's hard to like choose the absolute best thing to do. You can stack the ancients as you're walking by.
But yeah, I also think that you should just sit behind the puck. You should sit behind the puck right now. I don't think you need to be bottom.
Yeah, cool.
Because I think the puck can die to this Skywrath mage. It's like one of the only heroes that can actually kill puck consistently. And if you can keep puck alive, then puck will completely carry you. I still
do want to say though, like what you're doing here is better than being top. Like you are doing the correct action in like leaving the lane and just choosing somewhere else. To be.
But it should have been mid. I think in my head I thought like I don't want to soak mid's experience, but like I get what you're saying. Like obviously against a Skywrath type of thing,
right there, puck.
Probably a good thing.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
I did want to ask you.
Sorry.
Like I heard you say it earlier in one of the replays, and you were saying like it's essentially like from the last replay session. I remember you were talking to me about Alchemist, and you were saying like this is what Alchemist wants to do, and that was like really amazing for me. And you were saying he wants to obviously go off the jungle, so you want to get early jungle shrine wards sort of thing, so you can see what he's doing and jump on him as much as you can, etc. So like I think in the replay earlier you said like you want to look at their lineup and see what they want to do, and then obviously try and counter it, or delay them. I think you were saying, Donnie.
Yep.
So like that's what I was going to say. Like if you guys look at this lineup, like what
it's the Skywrath
of enemy team. Yeah, and what do we do, and what should we have done? Because obviously we lose this game. We actually get rolled in this game by the Skywrath mage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like solely. Like he literally just walks around killing everyone non-stop.
He fucking brutalizes Phantom Assassin. He absolutely fucking annihilates Phantom Assassin. And if you don't have Phantom Assassin, then you don't have any way to kill Drow. And if you can't kill Drow, then you lose the game.
It actually goes both ways too. Like if you get a farm PA, she brutalizes Skywrath mage. So that's why like fucking over Skywrath's early game is so important. It's like if you just he is the complete like tempo controller for his team. Wraith King just farms with skeletons and is this guy that's like, hey, kill me, I'm gonna respawn. I got you. Drow hits the triangle for like 30 minutes. So you don't want to kill Wraith King. You already pressured him in the lane. Like you already did really good in the lane, so you don't need to deal with him. Like he's level 5. It's pathetic. He's disgusting. Like, he's doing nothing. Skywrath is the only concern, really.
Yep.
So to do that, what do we do? Because obviously I'm not a killer. Like I'm just like
I would say what you
reinforcer. Like how should we have killed him?
Ward between the lanes, like ward and river, and on both their shrines, so you can see where he's moving to, and then just literally walk to wherever he's walking to. Because your movement speed is 378 with boots.
Yep.
So you can actually just walk to wherever he's walking to. I would definitely have a stick, by the way, this early on Abaddon. Stick is like the most broken Abaddon item. You should get it before boots.
You need a stick and a Bassie right now, really, really badly. Bassie.
I care way more about the stick than I do Bassie. I definitely like.
I don't know why you have a Ring of Regen. There should be a stick and a Bassie
for like an eventual soul ring, I suppose. But stick gives you infinite mana. Oh, okay, yeah. Stick gives you like infinite mana. You legit don't stick it. Well, stick and Bassie gives you infinite mana. Stick gives you like nearly infinite mana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at the PA versus this guy. Look at the PA versus this guy. She absolutely destroys him if she can have a good game.
All you have to do is keep PA alive during the initial silence burst, and then you win the game, basically.
Yeah, so that's what I was thinking. Like, is it more items? Because like my legend brain, like obviously less, thinking about the game. I was just thinking like we need push staves and friggin' Yule scepters to try and like on people early just to survive this like early onslaught sort of thing, just to push because he obviously builds a rod, and I'm thinking like the lion should have built. Like the lion I think starts building a rod, and I'm like build a force staff so we can actually save people out of the friggin'
No, force is
thing.
good. You're right about force.
Force is good.
Yeah.
Force like hard counters a lot of their heroes. You're
Yeah.
right about force. Yule Scepter is good, like on Puck for the silence and the draw silence, and also 2 stuns you can. Actually, Yule's is amazing. Yeah, Yule's is good too.
For Puck, not
No,
for you.
Yeah, for you. I mean, 5.
I was thinking force for me, and then I was just thinking like
you don't get
everyone
items.
Everyone else should build. Yeah.
5 rolls don't
Everyone
get
else
items.
should build a friggin' force staff.
I mean, you should have enough save between your Aphotic Shield and Mist Coil to not have to get anything else to save people from Skywrath Mage.
What I would say the biggest mistake this game so far is that you don't have wards like scouting the sky's rotation. So I don't blame you for not being able to mimic his movement because you don't see his movement.
Because that's what it was. I was always late. Like I was always just late. Like I just got there and I was trying to cast the shield.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just too late every time. And I was like, man, I just wish. And obviously, what you're saying, get the wards down early so you can mimic it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you just.
Oh, it's happening again. Damn it.
One thing.
I'm my teammates, and in the end, it's me.
One thing I also have noticed so far is that your timing with your shield is off. I've seen you use it like basically to absorb damage instead of to dispel stuff a lot so far.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that you're pretty much saving it exclusively for when people get stunned or the silence.
Yeah.
And then also
fully thrown in this game because I kept getting there late. You know what I mean? I do that in the other games. I'm sitting there like using it like I would Oracle's Q. Like I'm like looking for something to purge. Like that's good.
The thing with Abaddon is like he's got really low range and he's also got like a long cast time on the stuff that he has. So your positioning matters a lot on this hero. Like the way you should be positioning is so that literally any moment a fight breaks out, like you should be right next to the PA. So the moment Sky presses a button on her, you're shielding. Like you can't run over then shield her. You need to be ready to already shield her. In fact, what I would say is you should cast the shield on her, cancel it. Cast the shield on her, cancel it. Cast the shield on her, and then one of those times the Skywrath will go so that the moment he silences you, you're already casting the shield because you are casting and canceling it. Like this happening, walking over to help him isn't enough. You need to be in the trees right over there, already casting it on him for when the silence goes on him. And then this guy feels so cucked by you. Like you're cucking the shit out of him by doing that. And that's why Abaddon's a bullshit hero, is if you're just quick on it, like you can save anybody. You can actually save anybody.
This is good. Yeah. All right, so should have had wards down, and then I can mimic the Sky's movements essentially around the map, and then I'm essentially just countering his whole game.
He's the only hero that matters, to be honest.
Yeah. And who should have been ganking? So obviously the PA should still be farming away, sort of thing.
Who should be ganking in your team?
Puck and Centaur.
Yeah, like running around and trying to kill.
Puck, Centaur, and Lion, but it's not really up to you to make that shit happen. Like,
no, it's not. And
you can kind of set them up with wards, but then at the same time, you are basically like, if they're not playing aggressively, then you should just play defensively. Like, your hero's a hyper defensive hero. Just like keep your team alive, and the game is going to be fine.
Yeah, you can keep your idiots alive and like win games just by virtue of enemy team like completely overcommitting. You have huge mana issues, by the way, that would be completely solved by a stick. Like especially against Skywrath, like he's constantly casting stuff.
Yeah.
I like the like casual bracer. I think that's although I do think that Abaddon's not a hero that really needs it because like
I don't like it at all.
Yeah, brace. No, I was gonna say I like it on supports in general, but I think Abaddon's like one of the few heroes that doesn't like it because you're impossible to burst already, and what bracer does is it prevents you from getting bursted. That's it.
Yep.
I think I got it for obviously a bad reason. I'm not saying just
magic.
My brain was like the magic resistance. I was thinking, Sky's spamming a lot of freaking crap.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like the thing is,
it's like a million times better.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like if you, like, in fact, you don't want magic resist because you want to take more damage because it heals you. So.
Yeah, you're happy to take a bunch of damage.
Yeah, true. Countering myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, stick is
classic.
like stick like oh god, what an item it is on this hero.
Stick
You
Bassy.
believe
even-
me, you're gonna get a stick and your like mind is gonna be blown at how much mana it gives you.
Yeah.
Nice. It's ridiculous. And then also, once again, when it comes to like protecting the PA, you should already be there pre-shielding her, like just like following the Skywrath.
Yeah.
But once again, we already said that, so it's more it's more of the same, you know.
Yep, that's basically the story of this game.
That's everything. Also, I had another game I played with Abaddon. This is the final little thing. I know it's late for you guys. Brewmaster, what's the deal with him? Because I appreciated, you know what I mean, how you talked about
the counter
again. Yeah, the
He
counter, like how to counter
you.
freaking Alchemist. Yeah, and man, like he just lifts me into the air, and I'm just like running around,
It's
just
a
doing
hard
nothing.
counter. It's a hard
Yeah.
counter.
Can you
It's-
borrow
Right.
time
I didn't
out
know
of
it's a hard
Cyclone?
counter, but I feel like it's a hard counter.
You can
But I've
borrow
played him
time
2
out. You
times.
can borrow time out of it. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, true. Because it's a strong dispel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
But the problem
Damn
is
it.
that then you're just using your hard dispel. Like that's why it's kind of cancer against Abaddon, because like
Mm,
then you're just using your hard dispel to get out of that, and then they just kill you afterwards just because he like lifted you, and then it's off cooldown again. Like the good brewmasters, the way they'll play it is like they'll use like the green panda on somebody they want to focus, and then they'll throw you up like as you're about to finish casting your shield, and then you like come down because you press your ult, and then you shield somebody, and then they just dispel that using the dispel from the wind panda, and then by that point they've already killed the person they're focusing, and then they can just throw you up again or kill you.
Yeah.
And it's like it stalls for enough time. It's the same thing with like OD versus Abaddon. That's probably the hardest Abaddon counter in the game. You press ult, he just imprisons you and then kills you after, or you press ult and he hits you 10 times and gets 40 int and just kills your team. In fact, OD can literally walk up and drop the hammer on an Abaddon and kill him from full HP half the time. Like it's such a hard counter. It's actually disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, dude, this game it's 100%.
But with that being said, those heroes are a hard counter to core Abaddon, because core Abaddon runs in the ulti matters. A support Abaddon, you are sitting in trees and trying to cast stuff on your team like a Dazzle or like an Oracle. So it's not actually as much as a counter as people think it is because of the position that it's played in. And that's why this hero is so ubiquitously good as a position 5, because it's not played in the way that it can be countered. It's like actually kind of uncounterable. Because if you're using all of those spells to deal with a position 5, that's amazing. That's great.
Especially because the position 5 that can save himself.
Correct.
Yeah. But what's the deal with a brewmaster like in fights? Like I never, once he ults, I never know like what we're actually meant to be doing against a brewmaster. Like there's just friggin' 3 pandas running around, friggin'
just dispel
casting
whoever
all
he
their crap,
stuns.
throwing stones and lifting people, and
just save whoever he focuses. Basically, like that's
right.
all you can really do. Sometimes you can take like there's heroes that can cleave down the pandas that are pretty good. There's heroes that can like Naga can song and you can just ignore the pandas. Like a lot of the time, the best way, in fact, actually, one of the hardest counters to Brewmaster in the game is Centaur. You know why? It's because he presses R and then you just press Centaur R and run away from him.
Run over him all.
Yeah. No, you run away. You just like get the fuck out of there, and then you fight when he doesn't have his ult. And
that's what I was gonna say. Like as a team. Like that's what I mean, not even like individual, like
you just
personally.
leave,
I mean,
if you can.
Are you meant to? Yeah, are you just meant to try and outlast the ulti, and then once he's normal, then you fight. Is that the type of?
Yeah, exactly. Like that's a lot of the time how Dota is played with these like strong ulti heroes. Is they like there's a reason they're picked. Like you actually can't fight into their ulti. So another example of that is like the Shadow Shaman Serpent Awards. People would counter the Shadow Shaman by picking Naga, and what they do is they'd sleep and kill the wards, and then just fight after the sleep is over, because then you just have no Serpent Awards.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's because like the ultis are that important that like committing a Naga sleep to kill just the wards or to get out of a brew ult is a way to consistently fight around it, and that's all those heroes are is their ults. So
there was actually a game in the qualifiers where Secret, it was either Secret or Liquid. They waited, I think it was Liquid actually. They waited until they had buyback up on Miracle when they were up by like 20k and just had 1 Rax left, just so that it could feed him to tank a black hole and then buy him back and fight. They're literally like, all right, go feed and tank this black hole, and then they just won the game afterwards.
Grandmaster strats. That's cool.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Like Dota at the highest level.
I've been saying that in pubs.
Yeah, that's not happening. Dota's like ridiculous at the highest possible level. Like, see people making these like rotations, then people like countering these like super high level rotations, then countering the counter, and then countering the counter to the counter, and it's like you don't even realize like how much
Brain's
thought.
exploding.
Yeah, like there's so much thought that actually goes into like a tier 1 game of Dota that like the average viewer doesn't understand.
Yeah.
And it
yeah,
just looks like stuff is like randomly happening, but it's like no, this is a specific rotation that's being countered in this like really cool way.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
like how
like
you said that before. You said even like the commentators often make silly comments.
yeah,
Like,
they do.
"Oh,
Like they don't
do that?"
understand.
But
Right.
you know, it's all like, yeah, well, they've done it because of this. Yeah.
Right, because like oh they're used to this team like they take at the 5-minute bounties they smoke at the tier 2 and make this rotation. So this support that dies on the high ground is standing on that high ground because they know that smoke is coming and that team like always benefits from that smoke happening and like resulting in a successful team fight. So like Solo runs off and dies and people are like haha feeding Solo haha, but it's really just like the guy's literally countering an extremely high level play. And you know why they're not smoking at the shrine? Because they know good teams will have a ward at the shrine. So they're smoking at the fucking tier 3. So he's standing at the tier 3 countering a smoke that any good team that's not a tier 1 of tier 1 team would smoke at the shrine. And that's actually bad because there's wards on the shrine. So like it only works against the best of the best. And only the best of the best of the best can counter it. And to commentators, it looks like, he fed, It's like, no, dude, he's literally like done like days of fucking research on the best possible teams.
Yeah. Man, tell us how you really feel, Jenkins.
Well, how I really feel is that you guys got dumpstered by somebody named Babushka, and it was all your fault.
Babushka? Was it a pillar?
Babushka. Look at this.
Oh, is it?
Look at this
Babushka.
This old Russian Babushka, dude.
Right, Babushka friggin' wrecked us, man.
Match is 202. That's a Smurf.
Yeah, I mean,
Drow Medusa sniper. That's like that's such a Smurf.
Yeah, I mean for sure, but still, you could have
still
countered.
Good for learning from.
You could have countered the Smurf.
Yep.
Yeah, I should have wrecked him.
Yeah, you should have.
All right. Yeah, that's it. Sweet dudes.
All right.
And
See you next week, Hockey.
Yeah, Froffies. All right, dudes. Thanks heaps.
See you, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Catch you next time.
That's it, huh?
We're done.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in to Replay Review. This is a little bit of a longer one. We forgot to use our timer.
Oops.
We're still going to try and figure out a better way to do this where it doesn't take 3 hours all the time. We know you guys have lives, unlike us. But yeah, if you want your replays reviewed next week or any subsequent week until we get rid of Replay Review because we hate doing it so much that we can't do it anymore, it'll be every Thursday, 6 p.m. We might move it a little bit earlier. We'll see. But patreon.com/Dota Alchemy. That's the way to get your replays reviewed. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.